Where's my theme song? Ah. Okay, here we go. Ready? All right. Coming to you live from Monday after the clocks change and everyone's angry. Making me wake up late with sticky eyes. It's the tomato.
Monday! Let's go! Hate Monday!
Where's your horn? Hold on, where's Mrs. Tomato's horn? Get her the horn! Oh my god! There we go. All right, y'all. Party time. How y'all doing? Good to see you. Welcome in. Camera, you're a little over. Dude, why does the camera still have a lower frame rate? Gotta say. Special camera, can move itself, low frame rate, not the business. You know what is the business though? Monday streams. Welcome in, everybody. Thank you for coming. Hello, my friends. I don't have chat up on the right side again. This isn't working. I'm not getting any more used to the camera being over here. I don't know. I might have to switch back. Welcome in. How was your weekend? How are you doing? Be honest with yourself right now. Is it a good time? You feeling good? If not, get up with me a little bit. That's all. Up on your feet. Do like one jumping jack. Ready? All right, cool. Feeling better? Good. If not, I have at least some kind of fun gameplay to go on. Yeah, I don't know why. The camera's garbage. Who could possibly know why? Maybe because it's connected through Wi-Fi. I don't know. It's just a low frame rate. Whatever. You guys can see and hear me. Who cares anymore? Thank you all for joining me. I actually have an update on the tech problem area. For those who are interested or who have been following the journey these last couple months of us trying to figure out all of our tech problems. So as you can see, we got our new camera back. It's fresh from the company and repaired. Still running at 15 frames per second though. I have no idea why, so I'll have to do some research on why that might be the case. Mrs. Tomato, could you please do a Google search and see why OBS Bot Tail Air 2 might run at a low frame rate over Wi-Fi so we don't forget that. I actually had the man Walgrid in chat. I see you over here. Thanks for being here, man. Mondays suck. Let's make them better. 07s. I had Walgrid over this weekend, actually. He offered to come in and help out with our tech problems because he does it for a living. He is a professional. He gets paid and hired as a company to make sure that other companies have all their shit together and actually get their audio and video out. So he is the kind of person who knows how to fix this stuff. And Walgrid also said
Really hard.
basically that. Honestly, I didn't mean to hit that, but that kind of worked out. Walgrid also said, what the heck is going on with your computer? We went through a whole bunch of different steps. We tried a whole bunch of different things. We reset the firmware on this computer and then it bricked and we had to go get a new motherboard. And he said, oh, I'll look at it later. I just wanted to make sure we had it to search. And he said that he hasn't seen it in like years, decades. So I don't know what to tell you guys. Maybe I didn't like pray to the right processor as a kid. But yeah, computer things are just spontaneously breaking. So the problems audio-wise persist. And until I can get them figured out, I'm not really sure when I'll be able to get gameplay published on the Space Tomato Plays channel because I can't record gameplay from my other computer. So I don't know. At this point, I think we're just gonna have to contact Rode and return this thing because nothing else is working. Just had a professional drive all the way out here. Appreciate you, dude. Thank you so much for doing that. We did get our internet figured out with him, so that was great. Your computer runs fine, but you could use someone to come over and help you get your stuff together. Yeah, dude. I have so many problems that we couldn't even get it all figured out. So that's great. You don't know how to do cable management. Ugh. I hate cable management, man. Mrs. Tomato, luckily, is very good at it. Now do my computer. Wait, he has to come back and do this one again. No, I'm kidding. This one's still, time to start fresh, dude. That's the weird thing. This is a new computer, okay? This is a new CPU as of last year. It's new RAM as of, it's new RAM as of November. It's a new case as of November. It's a new motherboard as of 2 days ago. The only thing that has existed throughout time has been the hard drives, and even then, the only hard drive that still persists is not containing the operating system. The operating system hard drive is new, so it's almost a new computer. Just over the last maybe year or so, I want to say, yeah. So you got this processor around this time last year. Replacing a lot of internals, but keeping Windows installed. It was fresh Windows. That's what I'm saying. The hard drives that were replaced were the ones that had the operating system on them. The only hard drive that remains is, actually, I don't think stores anything on it. It did store stuff on it. Does this have stuff on it? It does. Yeah, so I guess it's just like my old data. But I'm not running programs off it or anything like that. It's not the BIOS. Like I said, we updated the BIOS on this thing and it bricked the whole motherboard. So we had to go out and buy another one. So now we're using a motherboard that's on its current software. Replacing a lot of big enough power supply. Yes, power supply is good. Demands on what you do for HVAC. Didn't you do HVAC? Yes, I did do HVAC. Wait, what did I? Oh, cable management. I did not do, I designed HVAC. I was an engineer, not a technician. So I would tell them what they needed to do. But sorry, folks, I don't know where all your wiring's gonna be. In fact, I wouldn't even specify where the control board went. I would just tell them what kind of control board they needed. That's on the electrical engineers. When in doubt, make sure XMP is on. Oh, for the RAM? Yeah. Yeah, I probably have to do that for this new motherboard. Updating the chipset drivers and CPU. We did all the drivers. Which motherboard? It's a Asus. And Walgrit was fully on board with, hey, don't buy Asus motherboards anymore. In fact, I think I got it over here somewhere. It looks good. I like it. To be quite honest, this is the nicest motherboard I've ever owned, and it was one of my favorites. But this bad boy, because the PC is all white inside, so it was a nice white on black build. But this thing doesn't work anymore, so I'm gonna try and send it back and see if they'll replace it. Because it really only bricked because we updated the firmware. Asus released a firmware update like 2 days before that, so we tried it and it it never turned back on. You only use Asus? Turned on XMP. Thank you. Yeah, we got MSI this time. Never Asus again. Dude, I hate Asus. I hate them. I'm sorry. Honestly, I'm sorry if I'm screwing up some kind of a potential sponsorship, Mrs. Tomato, but Asus is not a company I really want to work. Like, pretty sure our laptop's Asus. Just to send the message home for you, Mrs. T. It was a nice motherboard. I liked it. Not updating your Asus. I don't know if it was that update. Like I said, dude, my stuff is freaking weird, but yeah. Maybe give this update a little bit. Asus gone downhill over the past few years. That's what you're saying. Never had a problem with MSI. Well, that's what we ended up going and getting. So hopefully it works out for us. Oh, Atomic Wolf. Why didn't I hear that? Hey, thank you for the thanks for the sub. Appreciate you over on Twitch. Gifting out a community sub too, getting us started for the day. Let me I just realized I can't see any of my alerts over here. Wakanta. Ooh, where would alerts be? USB 2? Probably USB 2. Somebody want to, I don't know, shout out Tyrus or something? Just want to make sure I can actually hear what's coming through the other computer. You're going for an AS Rock board. Hey, Walgrit had said AS Rock's been doing a good job. +1 for Gigabyte. I like Gigabyte. I think Gigabyte made my first, yeah, I can hear it, cool. Thank you, Walgrit. I think Gigabyte made my first motherboard I ever used. My first graphics card was a 1080 Ti. I feel like you can't do better than that for a first graphics card. Like, it's just all downhill from there. By the way, some of you might be here for the Star Citizen news. We will be getting to that soon. I just like to chill and chat with the crew a little bit before we get started, you know? It's like friend time. Hang out. Kicking back, or as the kids say these days, you know? 1080 was an amazing bang for buck in 2016 and used it until 2022. Yeah, mine, I think I used mine until like 2023, I want to say. Your first discrete graphics card was one of those original Voodoo cards. Added them in addition, the old video card back in 95. Dude, the freaking graphics cards back in 95 were like the size of hard drives nowadays, right? I guess hard drives nowadays are like the size of Nintendo SD game slots. It's like everything's smaller. Oh yeah, the kids are rowdy these days, dude. You still have a 1080 Ti in its packaging? Dang. That's pretty cool. First computer didn't even have a hard drive. Nice. You'd be like, yeah, my first computer didn't even have a keyboard. We were still turning knobs and poking buttons on the side of the wall to make it function. You're stuck with Elite Dangerous now? You've been enjoying it? Absolutely interested by this game. Personally haven't played it because you can't afford it. But you're pretty sure you could run it. Maybe not well enough. You're just absolutely consuming SC content right now. Ask you want to hear something amazing? You can play this game for free. At certain times throughout the year, they will make the game and everything within it completely free to play. So if you stick around and you're watching Star Citizen content pretty regularly, there should be one coming up soon. I don't know. This is something we're going over today. Stella Fortuna is this week. And I am not sure if they do a free fly during this, but since they canceled the one in January, this could be a chance for them to do one. I think if they're going to do a free fly, it should be towards the end of the patch cycle and not the beginning. Yeah, if not, Invictus is right around the corner in May. Don't know if it's my genre, OG games, but there is a game called Replace. It's a pixel art sci-fi apocalyptic game. Oh, dude. Yeah, Replaced the side scroller. I have been on that for like 4 years. I've been waiting for that. Is there news about it? That looks like the coolest freaking, one of the coolest cyberpunk games to come out in years. And it's a side scroller. If they released a new trailer for that, I'd love to watch it. When the game is free to play, it's usually discounted, so you can get a starter package for $40. Yep. They canceled the last free fly, but there should be new ones coming up again. That was a particularly bad time for the game. But yeah, they're always 45. I am, you know, we've been talking about getting our new player streams back up and running. And once I get this audio problem figured out, because I can't really record gameplay very reliably right now, at least not with original audio. The audio is such a problem. Once I get that figured out, I think we're going to start bringing on folks like yourself to try out the game when they can't. Have a little newcomer profile for you and everything. James! Hey, thank you for the super chat. think we'll see the Apollo for Invictus or CitizenCon this year. I do not think we'll see the Apollo for Invictus. It's not military enough. I could see it for CitizenCon, but I don't know. I don't know. With the focus on content this year, I don't know if we're really going to get an Apollo with a feature-filled launch. And I think if they release the Apollo without updating medical features, that's a big old fail and not worth releasing. And they should hold off. It's a recipe for not disaster, but just a bad time. It's a recipe for our Vulture release or our Reclaimer release or our Starfare release or any other ship that came out before its gameplay that needs to be reworked so that it works correctly. Don't wait all this time to release the Apollo so it fits the gameplay and then release it without the gameplay. And we haven't seen anything about medical development this year. So while I'm still hopeful that Apollo might come by and they're talking about how it's going to be in development this year, as per what Execute and Algorid said on InfoRunners, the team expects basically an 18-month cycle on ships. So it's very, very possible that the Apollo still has more than 12 months left of work. Now, we did get an update on the Apollo in a white box towards the end of 2023, but nothing since then. So there's some work done on it. I don't know if there's enough to launch it this year. Yeah, it would also have drones. And drones are an interesting one. I do hope we get some more information about drones, but we still haven't heard anything. You live in Europe, so the Aurora or Mustang about 52 euros. That doesn't seem right. Is that with VAT? Is it seriously 52 euros in Europe? That's a lot. Hey, Walgrit, you have a good one, man. We're almost halfway through March and no word on if there's going to be CitizenCon this year. I still believe... I guess this is where we can start. This is where we can start today's news, because I wasn't really planning on going through this. For everybody who's tuning in, here's what I have planned for today. I'm starting to actually write down topics for the, I don't know, Space Tomato Show, Monday Show, whatever it might be called, so that we can go over some interesting stuff and I can have some bit of structure. So first I was going to look at the Iron Chad. Then I was going to take you on a journey of the history of mission givers and where they're coming from, why they're coming back into the game. After that, I was considering touching on why mining is changing so much and then talking about resource gathering missions. But I think instead I'm just going to talk about resource gathering missions and we'll work mining in there to how it's changing. And I was also going to touch on what is Stella Fortuna, which we've already started talking about. Since I don't know how interested people are in this, why don't we talk about what Vasson brought up here, which is CitizenCon and if it's going to be there. We haven't heard about CitizenCon yet, but I'm actually not as worried about that as I thought. Because if you go back to last year, and we looked last week on stream, on this very stream actually, we looked at when they mentioned last year that CitizenCon would be happening. And if you do any searches, you'll find that the official stuff that started to come out was around actually April. The first official announcement of CitizenCon, you know what, there's an easier way to do this. If you go back in the comms link, it's probably the best way. There might have been like a mention on Discord or Spectrum. I think Sandy mentioned it in a Star Citizen Live. But as far as an official announcement goes to let the people know, to let the general community understand that, hey, this is an event that's going to happen this year, start getting your tickets and stuff, or at least prepare to start getting your tickets. That was, I believe, first week of April. So yeah, this week in April 2nd, here we go. Yeah, CitizenCon 2954 FAQ. And this came out, doesn't have the actual date, but we can at least see that the April 2nd or the April 3rd roadmap roundup, which was a Wednesday, came out. And then the This Week in Star Citizen, which was a Friday, came out on the 8th. So this probably came out this is a Monday with the 8th. So this probably came out on the 5th, on the Friday. So we still got like a solid month before they usually do an official announcement. But as I said, last year, they were saying things earlier. Now, I think that's because last year was actually a unique year for them in the sense that they were really, like fucking ridiculously overhyping things. Not overhyping in hindsight, right? We were also hyped. It was coming off of a big CitizenCon. It was like, okay, we're starting to see things come over from Squadron. Like they're getting they're getting the work done. The preview's starting. Server meshing is getting tested. Like all this stuff. They really wanted to just keep riding that wave. And so they were talking about CitizenCon. They were saying it's going to be the best show. You've got to go to that show. My God, tweet. And we all got hyped. And so by the time they were ready to announce CitizenCon, everybody was already super excited for CitizenCon. That's not going to happen this year. It's simply not going to happen. This is going to be more of a, hey, we're building the game. Like they've got their heads down more this year, and it's more about the actual dev than the messaging, which is good. That's made for a more boring year than last year, these first couple of months, but I think people are already more satisfied with what they're seeing in 4.1 than in 3.23. I think part of that is because it's not being hyped up to be expected. 3.23 was like this patch that was supposed to be heralding in Squadron 42 features, and it did. It just immediately died after that. They put in 3.23, and then I think it was 3.23.1 was a pain, and then they had to push the hangers out, and then those things were sitting in like Evocati. Like it all, as soon as 3.23 hit, dragged. And it's because they built it up. We built it up. I built it up. I was part of it. Eh? You know? And I'm not gonna lie. The freaking map, the FPS changes, these things are good and they improve the game, but the momentum did not continue. And I think they don't want to do that again this year. So I'm not gonna say that there's something wrong about CitizenCon not being announced yet. The freaking financials aren't even out yet. That's more concerning. And they haven't said anything about it. Where are your 2023 financials, CIG? Tell us about that. Give us an update on how that's going, because these are the people who are spending the money on making this happen. And I think you still owe them that. But yeah, I don't think CitizenCon's going anywhere. I don't think it's in trouble or anything. I think they're just a lot less about the hype this year, which is a good idea. Hopefully, I don't know. What do you guys want to see from CitizenCon this year? I feel like everything that might happen after CitizenCon this year, even within the next, let's say 18 months, we mostly already know about. These would be things like Maelstrom, Armor System, the new Star systems, basically anything that's on the way to 1.0. They no longer have that kind of surprise, cool feature sort of presentation to make. So what would you like to see at CitizenCon? Do you just want to see them cover what's coming in the next year? Do you want to see a progress update? Do you want them to just completely skip it? I always felt like CitizenCon was a good annual event to show the people who aren't paying attention every month what's going to happen in the next year, but then you find the people who would be spending the money on those tickets go there and they're like, this is boring. We know this stuff. So they've got this challenge of figuring out what they need to present at CitizenCon. You'd be happy to take a break from CitizenCon this year? If we have a CitizenCon this year, you want a Squadron 42 date? Dude, that would be crazy if they didn't give a Squadron 42 date. Oh boy. Like the 2026 in last year's was definitely a, I don't think anybody was truly surprised that they pulled that, but people were still definitely like, damn, like at least a quarter would have been cool. Does it matter though? If CIG gives you a release date for Squadron, does it really matter? I mean, it tells us what their goal is. But I think most people will just look at it and add on a year or two. That being said, maybe. If Squadron comes in 26, they need to give us a date this year. Well, yeah, that would be, you'd have to kind of do that, or at least like a time period. They're like, yeah, it's December, and Squadron 42 is coming out sometime in 2026. I feel like we could figure it out by then. Do you believe in the whole Squadron is the reason development is slow narrative? I think that's part of it. I don't think that's the whole thing, but it's a big part of it, yeah. They care a lot more about Squadron getting complete. Frisch, what's up? CitizenCon needs to happen. What will the internet do if they don't have something to crap on every year? I mean, dude, people have been getting hyped from CitizenCon lately. I think the last 2 years have done a really good job of attracting attention to Star Citizen, positive attention. And you gotta keep in mind the context of previous year's CitizenCons for CIG. CitizenCon was regularly an event of controversy and just like missteps, from trying to charge people money to watch CitizenCon online to showing these massive demos that like never solidified, or at least have only started to solidify. Sandworm. To just like doing things that didn't show up for a long freaking time. It was just, CitizenCon was constantly drawing attention, but also negative press. And I feel like these last two CitizenCons are the first ones that they've consistently been able to build hype outside of the Star Citizen community for the game. Will be. I think that's the other side of why this is taking so long. Don't care about new stuff, just want the current version of the game to be actually functional. But that wouldn't, what would be the point of showing the current game functional in a showcase, you know? We're talking about marketing here. Not just our wants to play the game. Better not come out with another new ship for salvaging and then saying you can disable a ship and salvage components. Wait, what? What do you mean by that? Like, is that what when they came out with the Fortune? Squadron 42 has to be fully fleshed out before they can get Star Citizen done. Simply because it's single player and it's foundation. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely the case. The going metric has always been, if what we see from Squadron 42 doesn't look like a complete game, then Star Citizen is probably still years away from that. Because Squadron's always going to be ahead of Star Citizen in terms of its polish and its looks, right? So getting to see a good chunk of Squadron 42 gameplay over the last 2 years at CitizenCon is a good sign, and I think it's part of why we're starting to see Star Citizen reach that. So you can look at what we saw from Squadron 42 in 2023 and be like, okay, and by the end of 2025, maybe that's what we'll be seeing from Star Citizen in terms of gameplay. And we might be on track for that. But that's just disappointing, because then this whole time we've been looking at Squadron and being like, okay, when is this releasing? Because whenever this releases, that's when the timer starts for Star Citizen to have its little last hurrah. I think I missed a super chat. Alan Velasquez, I am so sorry. Oh, great SC Oracle, he said. Please tell me about the Perseus. Be there news on it coming? My kingdom depends on its arrival. Alan, I wish I could be the bearer of good news for you. Nothing on the Perseus right now. They're actually being purposefully quiet on the monthly reports about ships for some reason, so I can't tell you anything. But I have a video coming out, hopefully by this time next week. I keep saying it. That will have all of my latest updates on all the ships that might be coming out this year. CitCon annoys you, a big showcase of what's coming only to shift direction 2 months later. No. I don't think they fulfill what they say during CitizenCon, but I don't think they shift direction from it. making a single-player game with fancy features and tech is great, but getting it to replicate in multiplayer is a whole other beast. Yeah, it's been super fun. Star Citizen is the foundation that Squadron is built on, saying the roof is the reason the foundation is being held up as wild. Squadron is the foundation. Wait, Star Citizen is the foundation. Squadron is just an easier game to make. The name of the game for CIG goes: announce Squadron and Star Citizen, so both are exciting. Make Star Citizen the more exciting prospect and sell things through that to raise money. Use that money to develop Squadron 42. Sell Squadron 42 to make enough money to finish the development of Star Citizen. It's convoluted, it's weird, and some would say it's probably not how you should build a game. But both games need each other to survive, and Squadron definitely needs to come out first in order to help Star Citizen keep going. In my opinion. Don't want to see new stuff before they have what they showed us in 23 and 24, so you don't care about CitizenCon. What if they showed us what they showed us then in CitizenCon? And just showed us new demos of the same stuff. Star Cit's the sandbox, Squadron's the story. Kind of. Squadron 42 is self-contained, so it's just one type of gameplay in one star system with one set of characters and only a handful of ships. Whereas Star Citizen is 10 times the amount of gameplay, 16 times the detail, 50 times the size, 14 times the bugs. You know, it's like same game, different game. It's weird. But yeah, that's it about CitizenCon. I don't know what they're gonna do about it. I don't even know if this is gonna be a video, but it's worth talking about a little bit. Would SC need Squadron if they never started working on Squadron? Yes. I mean, they were launched together, so I don't... No. Star Citizen would probably not need Squadron if Squadron didn't exist, but if Squadron didn't exist, then Star Citizen probably wouldn't exist. So I don't know if that works. Any idea where it will be? Not a clue. Not a freaking clue. I think maybe Texas, but I don't actually know. All right, what's next? What's next? What are we talking about next? Isn't that technically a yes then? Yes. Yeah. This saying goes, one game's easier to make than two. All right. We're going to talk about the Ironclad, I think. Have you ever figured out your VKB mounts? Yeah, they're just a little back ordered. They should be here next month. Okay. Last week we talked about a ship that is probably coming this year. Seems pretty likely. We've seen the Polaris. We know that RSI is in the works. And I think we've actually seen the Perseus in the videos, ISC at this point. This week, we're talking about another ship that actually was revealed, I think last year, if I'm not mistaken, but is less likely to release this year, though it's not entirely untrue that it might. There's a lot of rumors and hopes and wishes and whispers and murmurs about the Ironclad, and it's the possibility that it might release this year. So we're going to look at it and talk a little bit about why it could, even though it's this gigantic ship, and why people like it so much. And in order to do that, we're literally just going to open up the ISC because there's not a lot of other information on it. I think you could look up the wiki. Ironclad, or the Iron Chat as some prefer. So it is a 120 meter long, 1 to 6 person ship carrying 1,500 SCU of cargo. That's the first kind of nice bit that people like about this. Let me give you an idea, a visual representation of where this sits in the cargo lineup. So you got your let's see, what do we have? You got your starting ships, right? 8 SCU, 16 SCU, whatever, 20 SCU of storage. You get all the way up to your C2, your real cargo hauler. Not the current top runner, but the top runner in cargo hauling for a while back in the day. The C2's got a good amount of storage. It has a nice and concise and quite profitable, about what, 600, so about 700 SU of storage, which is great. I mean, we've been having a lot of fun with the C2s doing supply or die. I think it's the perfect size ship to offload yourself if you got 3 people. It doesn't take too long and it feels like you're doing a good job. But then you look at what comes next in the lineup for most people to jump to from that. The Hull C, which is more. A cool 4,000 plus SCU. So you've got this big old gap right here in the middle of like, can I take a step up? Can I not expose everything that I'm flying to anybody who looks at my ship? And that's where the Ironclad comes in. At a nice 1,500 SCU, it hits that central point that I think a lot of people want. And you're storing your cargo inside. So take yourself like a few different caterpillars. In fact, how much does the caterpillar carry? Because the cat's like also in a, so yeah, 576. Actually around the same size as the C2. So you could put the C2 or the caterpillar in that same position, but there's nothing really in between the two. So you just put 3 caterpillars together and boom, bang, you got yourself an Ironclad. And this thing has some pretty cool features about it. Some nice storage, a really large internal cargo bay, but I'm gonna let CIG tell you about it and then we'll make our fun, witty comments as we go throughout this video. Again, this might come out this year. It'd be really cool if it did. I think it's possible, but let's not, you know, don't set your life goals on it. Oh yeah, this was also the first video where they input concept art with audio involved. Like this one, it felt like they really wanted to sell this ship with this video. They were like, it's cool, it has sounds and they move.
So the Drake Ironclad is the kind of next step up for Drake cargo ships. It kind of builds on what the Caterpillar brings, but in a much larger form.
The Drake Ironclad is a 6-person multi-crew armoured freighter. A large proportion of the ship is dedicated to the cargo bay at the front of it, which has both a front ramp for loading and unloading cargo and small vehicles on the ground, as well as a retractable roof for doing that in space with EVA as well. Little tight entrances to cargo ships doesn't necessarily lend itself to when you're out in deep space and you're trying to quickly...
Dude, that's such a shout at it to Caterpillar owners. Now that the Caterpillar's elevators are starting to work, which is one of the reasons that people are suspicious that this might be getting worked on. One thing that CIG likes to do, as makes sense, as we can see with the Polaris and the Perseus I mentioned earlier, is when they're working on one ship in a series or one ship in a company, they will try and take that opportunity to work on the other ones because the work overflows, it overlaps, and they're very familiar with the work in that time. So we're seeing updates coming to the Caterpillar. First, we've seen the elevator doors starting to work, which according to John Crew, is one of the worst decisions that was made in constructing vehicles in this game. It was a very painful thing to do. And I know that a lot of it was the physics grid stuff, which also got the Hull series working. So they made good progress on that. They've got that into 4.1, and this is a pretty big deal to people. Now the next step is, do we see the Caterpillar get component update? Do we start hear them talking about a Caterpillar rework? Are there any other signs that they're doing a lot of work on the Caterpillar, or is it just that? And if there are other signs, does that mean they're working on the Ironclad? I don't know. But that is something that points towards them possibly working on this, is the cat getting updates. And the Caterpillar has a problem with its tractor beam, with its cargo spaces. Just, it doesn't fit as well as what you would like, just like what he said, small spaces.
Move some cargo from one person's ship into your ship. Really, you want as much kind of access to be able to do that as you possibly can. So by having this kind of much larger opening on top of the ship, it allows us to kind of bring cargo in much easier.
So its role being a sort of armored freighter comes from two distinct ways. One, the cargo itself is more protected. It's within the cargo bay that has the armored roof section that covers it. So unlike, say, a Hull C where the cargo's on the outside, you can load it from the outside but then protect it with the Ironclad.
It is also more heavily armored than the Caterpillar, so it kind of gives a little bit more security to your kind of precious cargo.
The exterior is very classic Drake brutish styling, a whole lot of engines and a lot of framework and quite thin structure.
The thrusters, I think, are the best part of the design. Drake's thrusters always look really cool in action.
Elements support the rest of the ship. Very bare bones styling. It doesn't have lots of nice padding. It's all there and exposed. And it's really just sort of rugged and to the point. So the Ironclad is really three distinct areas. You have all the accommodation in the rear sort of third of the ship. The front 2/3 is really just this cargo bay with the front entrance and the retractable roof.
So you could put vehicles in here, ships in here, cargo in here. You could probably put, well, I don't know, whatever big stuff they're going to put in the game that we might need later.
And then you have the command module, which has seats for the crew, plus a few little jump seats for everyone else. Command module is there to steer the ship when it's attached, and the command module serves as the escape pod as well. The only time you really want to detach it is in an emergency. It's not designed to be your sort of primary ship flying around.
See, now this single scene makes me really hopeful that they're going to get deep into survival gameplay. I know a lot of people are not interested in that. People get pretty unhappy about that idea in the game, like food and stuff like that. But the idea of being in a situation where you could crash land on a planet and actually have to figure out how to get yourself out of it through finding food and resources and building something up. Like, imagine being able to find the resources on a planet that lets you build a little outpost enough that you can craft the components to repair your ship and fly away. And then when you leave, that thing that you built stays there and somebody else could come across, or you could return to it. Like, you could just decide, hey, you know what? This was cool. I like this star system. Maybe I make this a home for myself and I actually come back to this place and build it up just because you survived there. I really, really hope that they have big plans for that. And building ships that have entire modules that can break off and like fly, I can't see how they wouldn't do that. They don't talk too much about it, though. They didn't mention it too much in the 1.0 talk. So I'm not sure. But these sort of things do make me hopeful for it. And I'll catch you later. Have a good one, dude.
It kind of gives you a little bit of a get out of jail free card if you're transporting stuff that is quite valuable, quite sought after in maybe some of our less desirable systems.
I'm sorry, real quick. You guys keep asking about this tease that they did, so I'll go look it up real quick. That they may have teased the Ironclad on their sneak peek. Oh, okay. Looks like this is happening again. Toby Eye Tracker 5 getting more expensive. Oof. Now be available due to the tariffs. Yikesies. I mean, I love that thing, to be honest, but it's that's expensive. What was I looking for? Robert Space Industries. Robert Pattinson. Where did they tease this? There's a supplier die video, you said? Yeah, last year was a good time to get an eye tracker. I mean, hey, if you guys are looking for one, I'm not saying this as a way to get you to buy one, but like, I don't think prices of anything are gonna, I think everything's just gonna keep going up at this point. So if you want one and you're planning on having one this year, this is probably the best time to try and pick one up. When was this, is it this one? Oh. All right, let's see. I haven't seen this video. Is there an ironclad in it?
What? Help. Fight.
Oh, this is the trailer. Okay. Is this what we do now? You just release the same video on Twitter and YouTube? Because, like, why would I watch this on Twitter when the freaking quality is so bad? I guess it's for the people who wouldn't be on YouTube.
Frontier fighters are...
All right, where'd you say it was?
What?
The kitty armor? Oh. So I don't even need to be on this video. Okay, back to Twitter we go. Okay, let's see. Kitty armor, kitten armor. I don't see any kitten armor. Anybody have a date? Zoomed in picture on Twitter on March 2nd. March 2nd. Did they delete it? Oh, is this one? This looks like the interior of a ship. Oh, sweet Jesus, Twitter, just load the picture. Oh my God. It won't load. Did they put it on any other websites that work? There we go. There we go. Is this what you're talking about? Dial-up internet. Dial up over fiber. Twitter is showing red on down detector. Oh, look at that. The municipal works, you think? This looks kind of like Levski to me. You think it's the sewers? Could be the sewers, yeah. Yeah, I think I'm getting thrown off by this space down here, but I think that's just like the build. I don't think that's actually part of the physical space that we're looking at. I think it's part of the dev environment. I could see this being the sewers, the underground. Yeah, like an early look at it. The lighting is definitely not close to done. Looks like an interesting space though. Star Kitten bike behind the Star Kitten person. Is that, do you know what date that was? Dragonfly Bay of the Kraken. I don't know, that looked like it had a lot of extra stuff in it for it to be a ship. The weekly sneak peek from 2 days ago. Cat got your tongue. I guess they just didn't post that to Twitter. Let me see if I posted that to the Discord server. Yes, they did. This picture? So you guys are thinking whatever is in the background of this picture is the Ironclad? Okay. Yeah, I could not tell you. It's pretty dark back there. And you know what I just realized? I don't even have this light on. So you guys just been watching me in the dark this whole time. There we go. Now we're lit. Yeah, I could not tell you what's back there. You'll have to take this picture and brighten it up. But like I said, whispers and murmurs, people are interested, people are curious, people think it might be coming, and that's why we're covering it.
It allows you to do is kind of have a little bit of security. So if you're getting attacked or you're getting yourself into trouble, if you want to save yourself, you can kind of jettison your cargo and try and get out of Dodge and kind of get out to safety. And I think that's like a really important thing as we get closer to Death of a Spaceman.
With some of the recent tech that's come online, this brought us one step closer to implementing command modules properly. So not only will you see this detachable command module feature on the Ironclad, but as well it will happen on the Caterpillar.
Interior-wise, you've kind of got two entrances onto the ship. You can either enter via the command module, and that takes you straight into a kind of corridor section. It's kind of like, almost like a mezzanine. You can either go up to the habitation area, which is top floor of the ship, gives you like super nice views out both the kind of cargo out the front and the rear of the ship, or you can kind of come down the ship into the main habitation area. Alternatively, you can enter through the dock and collar airlock, which is on the opposite side of the ship. At the rear of the interior of the ship, we've kind of got the heart of the engines.
So this is a pretty
big kind of engine.
It's actually kind of a small layout for the size.
At the rear of the interior of the ship, we've
it's obviously thick. It's a thick boy, and it's double deck here. But compared to the Caterpillar takes up quite a bit of space for its engineering too, and it's significantly smaller. Just a large portion of this ship is the cargo space, but I guess that's true for the Caterpillar too. Drake, I'm gonna keep looking at the camera over here. Drake, is this a thing? You do this often? Can you please make one of these for fluid transportation? Because I think that would just look really cool.
I've got the heart of the engines. It's the big kind of engineering area where we've got all of the kind of main functional components needed for moving such a large ship. And then if you kind of come slightly further forward, got we call it the kind of like the command deck. It's not a bridge, you can't fly the ship from it, but it's where you operate the tractor beams. It's where it kind of gives you good views out over the front and into space.
Literally, it's going to be such a freaking cool opportunity to load this ship up. I think the Ironclad's going to be really crucial for base building stuff, because landing on the ground and loading stuff out the top is going to be super valuable.
Got the tractor beam turrets, but also visually you can kind of stand in this area or sit in this area and look out over the front and over the bow of the ship and kind of really see what you're trying to pull in or what you're trying to capture into your cargo hold.
I'll become a hauler for that. I don't have to fly.
Downstairs, we've got
just move the boxes around.
Covered area at the rear of the cargo hold, and that is where you can store a couple of small ground vehicles or
a little garage
equipment for moving vehicles and cargo around.
Not gonna lie, this part of the ship actually reminds me of the pit from Halo 3, I think it was. It's like a small indoor level, and I get those vibes from this part of the map for some reason. I think it's kind of the styling has that sort of old UNSC style without the details.
Your equipment for moving vehicles and cargo around. And then you're into the main cargo hold of the ship, and this takes up the majority of the interior space.
Mezzanine.
This large cargo hold. One of the things that we were kind of really keen to do was give lots of different views and different angles down into this cargo hold. Again, as we're exploring slightly less lawful systems, we wanted to give the players as much opportunities as we can to kind of be safe aboard their own ship. So either side of the cargo hold, we've got these gantries that run completely front.
Gantries, sorry, I used the wrong word.
To rear on the ship, and they give great view down into your cargo bay. They also give that opportunity of if there's someone tries to board you via the cargo bay, it gives you some nice cover opportunities. And we've also got a few little windows that kind of look down into it as well. As you move to the kind of
I think this ship is going to make for a great set piece. You guys know how we have the 890 jump boarding mission. One of the things they haven't done very much in Star Citizen is give us missions based on the ships we use. And once we start doing that, things get interesting. When you got to board a Polaris and take it over, we do it a little bit. We got the Idris, like I said, the 890. We have that one cat mission, and then the Reclaimer. Some of them are broken and gone though. Once they start bringing in ships like this, and they have us do like little extraction missions, they've got like a security locker here. You're gonna have to probably hack into. These are gonna be cool set pieces.
At the very front, the very nose of the ship, those gantries lead into a kind of secure cargo area. It's somewhere that's a little bit more difficult to get to when you kind of enter the ship. The big thing we were referencing when we were looking at it was this idea of police evidence rooms. And so these kind of individual cages where you could put your most secure cargo, whatever it might be, in this area, and it would make it quite difficult to try and breach in or out of that area. So it gives us just somewhere a little bit more secure for kind of smaller cargo items. Finally, at the very front, we've got access to one of the main turrets and the tractor beam turret.
The biggest attraction for me with it is just the versatility of the cargo space. From a good citizen law standpoint, it is a cargo ship, but also that retractable roof and the tractor beams on board it give it some less legal opportunities for perhaps taking other people's cargo ships in space and on the ground. At the time of recording, we're also exploring a more military-themed variant of the Ironclad. It doesn't have the name yet, so we'll just call it the Drake
Ironclad Assault.
Compared to the base ship, this has been developed to support ground assault operations. It has additional turrets covering the upper and lower surfaces to provide more fire support. And the front section of the cargo area has been redesigned to enable our largest vehicles in game to be deployed from it, such as the tank. In addition, the cargo bay has been reduced in size to facilitate a onboard repair facility. So for the
Holmes. Honestly, with an onboard repair facility, man, we got to see what they're going to allow us to transport in terms of fabricators for crafting, but we know we can transport them. So you're going to have a vehicle bay, a secure storage bay, facilities for 6 people, turrets for defense, an easy time loading things and unloading things, a repair facility, space to carry aboard a crafting fabricator so you can craft stuff, roll your nurse on board so you got to respawn. Yeah, this could be a forward operating base, a little micro pioneer kind of thing. This could be a really good ship for a group of people, but this is also going to be one hell of a target for people to attack and stalk and track. I think one of the things I'm wondering about when it comes to piracy is how easy are they going to make it to track people? So maybe if you find a good target, you don't have to attack them right then. Save them for later. Let them fatten up. Baltzin, dude. Baltzin, man, has stream Santaing on YouTube once again with the 10 memberships. Holy. Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. Hope you're having a good weekend, good day. Having a good weekend, had a good weekend. And I hope your husband's doing all well. Doing better after the surgery. Cheers to you. Tracking beacon weapon that just fires a tracker. Oof, people would be so pissed if you could track ships in this game. Oh no. Oh no, they say.
This isn't just random squirting.
Oh no. Oh no.
For those of you who want to have a journey in the cargo profession, traditionally you would start out...
This is not bigger than the Polaris. This is a little bit bigger than the Perseus. It's 120 meters. Oh, it's bigger than the Perseus. This is around Carrack size, I want to say. 120 meters long.
Think, say, like a Hull A. The next step up from there really is sort of into Drake Caterpillar territory. So you're doing roughly an 8 to 10 times jump in cargo capacity. From there, the Ironclad sits nicely between those smaller ships and the much larger bulk carriers such as the Hull C, and then ultimately you get to things like the Hull D, E, and Kraken at the end of the cargo career.
You said Kraken.
Yes.
Was that a hint at anything?
Oh.
It's not a hint at anything, but making the Ironclad makes the Kraken easier.
So building out the...
Yeah, so there's also that, which has people very excited because they're teasing that too, of course. As CIG likes to do, tease. If we can find... I hate how you search for Star Citizen and you never actually get their channel. You always get these weirdo YouTubers making videos and streaming and obsessively talking about their channel. And then going on their channel and watching that stuff. Like, why wouldn't I just go to the channel? So if you go to one of the recent Inside Star Citizens,
If you want.
theory has it, and it's why that's the most replayed part of this episode, you can see. This is the Perseus, but this is not, I don't know why I even came to this video. I meant to come down here to look at our new star systems where they teased a Kraken during last year's CitizenCon. So like, they're dropping little bits and pieces, little breadcrumbs. Like they're trying to get people excited about these ships, and I think y'all better deliver them if you are.
The Ironclad does, of course, kind of help us with building out the Kraken. I think increasing that visual library of assets that we can pull from and use in a Drake manufacturer at the right scale is super valuable for when we can move on to the larger ships.
It's a cool ship. I wonder what kind of downsides it's going to have. This is going to be a pretty interesting thing to use and fly, and it's probably going to have a decent amount of quantum. But armor-wise, what's it going to look like? Fuel-wise, maybe quantum it would be good, but possibly not hydrogen. I don't think it has VTOL engines, so they keep showing it flying in atmosphere, but how much is that really going to hurt it when it's trying to hover, land with all this mass, all this cargo in the back of it? Interesting ship, very cool one. We'll probably talk about it again later in the year. I'm hoping during Invictus we hear about something about it, but I genuinely don't think it's coming until the end of this year, if it does come this year. Either way, hope this was a bit of an update on the Ironclad for you. Thanks for checking it out. About the Kraken in the video, if you remember, they said it was purely decorative and weren't working on it. They weren't working on it, yeah. They're just teasing it. You ready for Nyx? I'm excited for Nyx. This is gonna be, it'll be cool to have another star system. I mean, we're starting to see, parallel development in Pyro and Stanton, and they're distinct. They're a little bit different. You got the Hathor group facilities and that stuff going on that replicates some of the experience people are getting from the contested zones in Pyro, but they have different reasons for existing, different reward structures, different objectives, but they're slightly playing off the same ideas. And I think that's a really good example of how content can improve the game. So to have Nyx come in and to do a similar thing with a different star system that's based on a very, very different aesthetic. I mean, this is nothing. There's nothing like this in the game right now. You could point to any other landing zone. Lorville, Orison, or Area 18, or New Babbage. But there's nothing really like this, so it'll be interesting to see how they can use this to make more unique content for players. The cargo hauling in Nyx is going to be wild. I know that much, because this is a system that's going to require transport from Stanton to here, and in order to make it here, you're going to have to go through Pyro. So the cargo hauling gameplay that they do that involves Nyx is going to be, I hope, some of the most interesting stuff they've done so far. Or maybe it's really boring and nobody does it because it's not worth it. This will be the best year yet. You're only excited for Nyx? Get you some actually interesting factions. I wonder who they're going to make for Nyx. More excited for Castra. Yeah, Castra is the coolest, Cascom specifically, coolest location they've made so far. Brigadier, thank you for the bit, and Space Marine for the sub. Appreciate you guys. And Frost Otis also subbed up. Lobo subbed up. Wait, we had a sub. What the fuck? We had a hype train? How did I miss that? Why am I not hearing that? Where are my Twitch alerts?
All right.
I'm actually not hearing alerts.
Awesome. Awesome. So, for all that remember, it's awesome to be able to say, welcome back to Levski. And for new players, let me tell you why it's a cool place. This used to be
I can hear
an old
that, but
mining
I didn't
facility.
hear the Twitch or YouTube alerts. I'm sorry. Mrs. Tomato, can we see if the Twitch alerts are not working for some reason? Kello's Emporium looks a bit like this. The classic asteroid buildings. Isn't Nyx truly lawless, no gangs or any form of government? Yes. Well, no. There's still factions in Nyx. There is the People's Alliance, and there are other gangs that exist in Nyx, and there are also, I believe, Vandal factions that come into Nyx. So it's, yes, again, technically it's lawless, but in the same way that Pyro is lawless, there will be groups within the system that are still there to mess you up if you are not doing what they would like you to do. All right, just as a real quick, let's look at what Stella Fortuna is. It's not like a huge thing. I don't know. Sorry, St. Patrick's Day fans. It's a minor holiday for Star Citizen. And I don't know if they're normally doing a free fly or not. It's a holiday that's observed by the inhabitants of Mars and human citizens of the UEE and was celebrated yearly at the Earth-Mars conjunction. When is the next Earth-Mars conjunction? Aren't we supposed to be launching some rockets at that planet by then? The next Earth-Mars conjunction. Junction. What's your function? Okay. Just for about every 2 years. So, I see. So the last one is in January. Next one is next in 2 years, in February. All right. We got some time. You know, it's not like we could just make Earth better or anything. Let's just go to the next one. Am I claiming Nyx as my home system? I don't think so. Honestly, Magnus is going to be my home system, but I don't know when that's coming. What do I think of the planets of Nyx? Or maybe only Levski is interesting. They haven't talked much about the planets of Nyx, what they'll include. I'm betting they'll have some good resources available, though. Let's see, what else is there? So this became a fixed date in March 15th. That would be very interesting to, like, soon this will happen, I guess. No. Yeah. It is going to be a while, but this would be happening in real life sometime, at some point. It's established to celebrate the successful colonization of Mars. It has developed further into a holiday which praises the spirit of the Martians colonists to tempting fate after the catastrophe of 2125. It also celebrates fortune, boldness, and embarking on new business ventures. The day is also used to seal romantic partnerships and business deals, or if they are one and the same, go all out. Celebrations including festivals, fireworks, feasting, and other romantic partnerships and feasting, and other forms of mass celebration. The code colors are green and gold, i.e. used in the fireworks. So this happens in-game. It started for us in 2018, and it's been going ever since. However, after 2021, they stopped introducing new vehicles with it. I keep trying to tell people they've gotten better at this. The whole releasing ships thing used to be worse. There used to be a lot of concepts that used to happen a whole bunch, and they used to not really make as much sense as they do now. But who knows? Maybe they will release a ship with it this year. They do release skins still, which I think is going to become more and more of how they make their revenue. But generally, I don't think there's too much else going on here. Do you have to look for anything in game? Find anything? Toes. I don't think you do. Last year's, it said take control of the versus fastest ship and see how you stack up against this system's top racers. Think you can hang with the best? We'll see you on the track. So this was, were they releasing racetracks at this time? Is there just a, let's see, this is a promotion. A feeling of power. Stella Fortuna, take control of versus fastest ships and see how you stack up against the ship's top racers. Was this a free fly? That's what I want to know. Or did they just make these ships free? I genuinely don't remember. Hey, it's us! It's us! Oh, we're on here! Hey! Yo, and it links to the org. What's up? GII. Hashtag join GII. Well done, GII Racing. You guys showing up. I actually forgot about that. Topping the leaderboards pretty regularly amongst some very good company up here. All of these other orgs are very racing focused, so big honors, guys. Good job. But yeah, I still don't know if this was a free fly or not. I did remember. Well, I didn't remember right now. I forgot we were on there. Assistant, these vehicles become available in future events. See, it says the promotion has ended, so it doesn't actually tell me what the promotion was. I don't know if there's a free fly during Stella Fortuna, but there are events, I guess, promotions and stuff going on. Not really much happening in game either. This is generally not the big kind of event to go in. If you want a chance to try Star Citizen, you want to do it during a big event, I would wait until May. That's the real good time. That's going to be Invictus. There will be things going on in game for sure. We would probably be seeing 4.1.1 by then, which is going to have some interesting new stuff we still don't know about right now. And just in general, the game will be in a better place. As we progress through the year, the game should be improving over time. So 3 months in, we are here. Hopefully in 6 more months, it's a lot better. Or 2 months if you want to come for Invictus. But that's Stella Fortuna. We'll update on what's going to happen there. Let us talk about mission gathering. The gathering missions.
Go to Wish and get the Wish version of whatever you're supposed to be delivering.
Yes, Wish. It'd be cool to see a system that is in the process of being built up, and there are missions where you have to do security for the corps, hauling in parts and building stations, cities, and stuff. That would be cool. Thank you for the bits, Brig. Hope you're having a good day. And Zero, thanks for the sub. Y'all on Twitch. I can't even say that because Balson threw down on YouTube. We will soon start that back up. We will reclaim the top spot. Whatever you guys need, let me know. Wonder what their progress on dynamic meshing is like. Yeah, that's a good question, Elf Crisis. I am curious because they were pretty confident about it last year. Gathering and collection missions are great kind, light science and exploration. Yeah, really is. Ciao. How you doing? Good to see you in the chat. You remember on YouTube and Twitch and you like YouTube better? I'm with you, dude. I enjoy the YouTube more. Wherever it might be, though. Happy to have you with us. Okay, so there is a new type of mission coming into Star Citizen. And this is kind of significant in my opinion because we hear a lot of things and it's easy to hear those things, think about them, be a little annoyed with them, and then forget them, or even be happy about them and then forget them. And then 6 months later, where the heck are they? Why aren't they in? Or 6 months later, maybe they do come in. And it's, I think, reasonable to follow the path of how they got there. So this is a new type of mission that's coming in with 4.1 called Collection. And this is basically resource gathering. They tell you that they need something, and then you get it. You don't have to worry about how you get it. You can buy it from any vendor. You can mine it from any location. You can steal it from any person or NPC. You can acquire it in any way. but it is your job to make sure that it is clean and that it can be sold to the people that you're getting it to, that it is undamaged, and it's what they ordered. These are the missions that we wanted back when cargo hauling started, but they were like, no, you have to deliver the specific box. And this can expand so freaking large. Like this, the potential of resource gathering missions is you could tie this into any event. Suddenly, the blockade runner mission doesn't have to be a mission where you go and you kill some specific ship and you get that specific cargo and you take it to the space station. Now they can be like, no, there's a blockade on this system, on this station, and you have to get the stuff there. It doesn't matter how you do it. You can attack these pirates, but you can also go mine it, or you can acquire it in some other way. And they can start to mix up a whole bunch of different types of missions with this. They can create new missions with this. This is one of, I think, the best proving grounds for this whole idea of we want to ship content and focus on that. So I wanted to take a second to jump back and look at where they talked about these originally, and then now how they're coming into the game. I think this is where they talked about it. I might actually be completely wrong. Let me double check, because this is, let's see, this is calling missions, quantum. I think this is it.
Elliot, for miners, will there be missions to sell what we mine to something like the distribution centers, so that they can then be hauled away with other hauling missions?
Yeah, as I mentioned before, this is the resource gathering type mission. So
Okay, so I was wrong. This is not it. It's before this, the resource gathering. So that's at an hour. Let's see. Lower mission rewards. Period of time. Nobody takes. Okay, instead of this, why don't we do it the easy way?
So we will have missions that require.
And search the transcript. Oh, I was right. It was there. Okay, my bad.
Question is kind of alluding to is more resource gathering missions. So we will have missions where you are asked to just get 10 Hopium horns, or this refinery just wants X amount of raw iron, and the player can get them by their own means. For example, you could go mine it yourself. You could pirate it and use it for the mission and things like that. So in the future, we will have missions that allow you to get the commodities via your own means.
That you just go to Wish and get the Wish version of whatever you're supposed to be delivering on the cheap.
So yeah, that was, God, I was bummed by that, because I really just wanted to get missions like that. But I'm glad to see those coming into 4.1, and I don't know how much they'll do right now. I've just noticed they're only from Wikillo, who's the mission giver. He asks you to get some weird things like a freaking burrito. But then Rayari gives you a mission to collect 24 SCU of Hopium horns, which is like hundreds and hundreds of Hopium horns. They just want you to drive the whole species extinct in Stanton. So I think they're still balancing that out, but they're starting to sneak in, and I do hope that they're there for more companies than just Rayari and the mission giver. They have a new update about the PTU. Oh, that's good. We'll check that out right after this. Imagine getting into Klesher on purpose just to mug NPCs for their gems. They used to talk about putting mission givers into the prisons so that you'd have to go get yourself in trouble to get into prison to get the mission. Or you get a mission from some underworld criminal organization and they're like, hey, there's a criminal in the prison and we want them dead. They're living in the prison because we can't get to them. I want you to get arrested, go in prison, and kill them. Okay. Sounds fun. That won't make me stay in prison longer. What's the big deal? You don't get it? I don't know. I don't know what the big... I don't know. About 4.1. There is no big deal. Pyro's here now, so Elliot can move that board. What did it say? Oh, James doing Pyro stuff. Supposed to have all the engineering base building and stuff, maybe. No, not in 4.1. No. People are just interested in the new content coming in 4.1. It's not a big deal, but it's a nice update. 24 Hopium horns, not SCUs. I'm pretty sure I saw SCUs. Was it just horns? You checked yesterday? Okay, I thought I could have sworn it said 24 SCU of Hopium horns. That's a lot better then. 24 horns it makes more sense. That's a little more sustainable, I want to say. Well, now I think we need to change things and make it 24 SCU. It says SCUs, but it isn't. Okay, so it's a typo. I see. I thought maybe I made it up in my head. I was like, I swear it was there. That's a big typo. They should fix that. Hope we could see the collector all the artifacts and relics we can find in the verse. Could be great to do treasure hunting. Yeah, isn't it? And this is what we were saying. People keep asking, when is exploration going to be in the game? For some people, this is exploration. You just tell them they need to find something and they'll be like, ooh, I like looking for things. There's not much logic to it, but you can still spend some time doing it and get paid. Okay, let's see. So the mining, yeah, that's completely different. Let's see what they said about these. Did they even put anything about these? No. The only things they really put in the patch notes are just revised collector missions with update requirements, added Rayari intro mission, objectives, and marker. So, not really much info about this. They didn't even list it as its own separate thing here. So I don't know. I think it's a pretty big deal that we're getting these collection missions. They're being a little bit mum about it. Maybe I think normally that would be its own card on the roadmap, to be honest. But we will see where they go from here. You've got a slight tinge of TAC Hopium on the theory its release is tied to the Valakar worm release. TAC is a cool ship. I do like it. I don't know when it would release though. I feel like the TAC would be more a July, August kind of release. Hold us over midway through the year sort of thing. Seen people saying CIG delivering on the content promises, but seems like a normal patch. It's not a normal patch. It's not like a huge, crazy, game-changing patch, but it's not a normal one by any means. I mean, it is distinctly focused more on content than features. Even like the most simple example, we haven't seen an FPS weapon added to the game since I think 2019. It's pretty clear push that they are trying to get things into the game that aren't going to break the game or just kind of adding in that stuff. We're also getting a new location with new missions attached. I don't even... Besides Pyro, of course, the 4.0 update, which is a little bit of a standout update, I don't think we've seen new locations with new missions since, I guess, the distribution centers. Yeah, I don't think 324 had that. quite honest, I don't think... Let's see, the last time we got a new location with missions would have been... Not Seraphim, not Lorville, not the Demar Crashite. We didn't get them with the Sand Caves. We didn't get them with Rivers. Derelict Spaceships. Did these have new missions? I think they had rewards. I don't think they had missions. They did eventually get mercenary missions here. But like, yeah, it's been probably since like 21 that we've gotten a good update with actual locations and missions included. We haven't had a mission giver in the game since 2019, I want to say. Around here somewhere. 3.5? Dude, I don't even know where the freaking last mission giver was. This Clovis. Where's Tisha Pacheco? When did she come in the game? I thought she was 3.6. I'm so freaking confused. Okay, well, I can't find Tisha, but we haven't gotten mission givers in the game since around 2018. So 4.1 is the first time we're getting a mission giver in 6 years. It's the first time we are getting a new weapon in a new FPS weapon in 5 years. It's the first time we're getting mission-based or location-based missions since, I mean, of course, 4.0 was a significant update. 3.23 did have the distribution centers, but as far as normalcy goes, we don't really get new locations with missions. And it's also changing the way that item recovery works for the first time since 2021. So like, this patch is kind of breaking a lot of norms. It's a bit of a big update. Again, not a huge game-changing one, but it's... Why am I zoomed in? Zoom out. Good lord, this camera. Bit of a, not a game-changing update by any means, but certainly one that's going to get people excited for being a bit different. Leaks imply Valakar gems for random ships through a lottery of some kind. Sounds weird to me, but who knows. Valakar gems for random ships through a lottery. Fans and the company were not prepared for how long this game would actually take. That's for sure. Are they putting another 4.1 together? Somebody did mention that there was a message out about it. .2 gave us the P8 AR. That is true. We did just get the P8 AR, but that also, I guess, goes along with the idea that this year is content. P8 AR, the Ripper, the P8 AR, and the Volt weapons are all the first FPS guns we've seen in a long time, and they're all coming this year. Like, they finally were able to break away from Squadron to deliver stuff for Star Citizen. None of that is really a big deal. It's just a couple things they shelved for a minute. Dude, I don't know what to tell you, man. You're asking me why people are excited. I'm telling you why they're excited. They might not excite you, but like, none of these things are things that normally happen in updates. You're saying it's a normal update. I'm showing you things that haven't happened in updates for years, and then you're like, oh, well, it's not a big deal. And I'm gonna tell you, right, nobody's trying to convince you it's a big deal, man. You don't have to be excited for it. Other people can be. It's cool. Can't wait to have full-on battles against the Banu so we can show them it was man-made in... Fusion, Jesus, man. The Banu don't even fight. They're just trying to trade goods with us and party, dude. When you signed up 11 years ago, you took a look at their goals and you knew it would be a minimum of 7 to 8 years. Dude, I had no clue. To be quite honest, when I signed up, I didn't really look at much of the goals. I just wanted to fly spaceships. Where's your crossbow? That's true. Yeah, Wakello's got you on watch now, dude. This guy said, I can't wait for the banner to be here so we can fucking kill them. All right, let's see if we can find this update on what's going on with 4.1. Hearing that there might be some news. Let's go to our favorite dev tracker. Hey, yeah. People are trying, though. People are saying this is CIG delivering on their promise of content, but it's just a patch. Dude, I'm done with the conversation. If you don't think it's content, that's fine. It's content. Let's see. Only thing I'm seeing 4.1 related is from feedback. You're glad you only found out about this game in 2020, so you haven't had to wait so long? Yeah, good call. I'm thinking people who found out about this game right before 4.0 probably are in the best position. Actually, I guess people who haven't found out yet are in the best position. Depends on what you like. Some people want a finished game, so it's nice to just not know about it until then. But I don't see anything here about 4.1 news. This is about T0 stuff. This is ground vehicle lasers got their power buffed, reduced the time it takes, made it harder to mine. Intention of beginner minables is to introduce resistance, instability, and other parameters on their own so you can learn how to handle these by either adjusting your mining laser or by your actions. I see, so they're really trying to... Huh. Interesting. How long do I think it will be before I have a knife fight with a Vandu like an elite in Halo? Hopefully not too long. I can't go very long without not having a Halo reference. Still don't know when we will get the game. Yeah, and that sucks. So I want to talk about this a little bit because this is an interesting bit. Mining in 4.1 is actually taking a pretty interesting update. So they're doing this this splitting of minerals by basically they're doing rock minables, FPS minables, and ship minables are all split up. Now, when they first did this, I was kind of annoyed because it sort of breaks that idea of the whole sim where you can have a certain type of rock and that rock can be any size, and depending on that size you need any amount of energy to break it, and then that energy can come from any source as long as you just reach the energy output. So 14 mining FPS tools would get you the ability to break a rock mineral, and you could still, you get what I mean. So that's kind of how it was for a bit, but it never really fully developed in that direction. And now it is becoming very distinctly differentiated between the three types of mining. I didn't like it at first, but the more I think about it, since so much of this game is turning towards crafting and resource gathering and the management of resources, it would be really hard to make FPS and rock mining valuable if you could just mine the same stuff in larger formats from the Prospect of the Mole or the Orion or anything like that. So their solution to this then is to create specific minerals for the specific sizes they come in. This way, whenever there's a crafting recipe for 2000 SCU of Aphorite, you can't just go out and do it with a prospector. Everybody has to do it with FPS, and you have to find a way to strategize your FPS gameplay to get the best returns. And that makes sense. So this is kind of what they're talking about with splitting it up. I just wanted to give you a run through of what the devs are saying and feedback, how that's going, and you guys can jump in, give it a shot, see what you think. Greetings! In preparation for future systems, we started to prepare the ground vehicle mining and FPS mining gameplay to fit our goals. We split our FPS minables, which are Aphrite, Dolivine, and Hadanite, to not be the minables you will be looking for anymore when you are going mining with your ground vehicle, like the Rock. Instead, there are now new minables that are exclusive to the ground vehicles, which are categorized as beginner minables with their own additional difficulty rating. These adjustments have also been done for FPS minables, with more specific available in tonight's patch notes. There are now also 4 dedicated mining heads for the Rock that can be bought and exchanged. That's exciting. These tier 0 mining heads, like for the ship, this is the first time they've ever adjusted rock mining with actual, like, they're finally moving beyond just the basic prospector and mole can do things, and we are now seeing gameplay changes for our more peripheral stuff. Thank God, because rock mining's actually kind of fun. I like that. These tier 0 mining, or these size 0 mining heads, like for the ship mining, come with their own bespoke balancing and giving benefits like instability reduction, resistance reduction, optimal charge window parameters, laser power, and more. What we would like to know from you is the following. What difficulty rating would you give each rock? What are the differences you noticed for each mineable? Would you like to spend more or less time mining a ground vehicle or a FPS mineable? Describe in your own words what are the consequences of having the rock reach the red zone. If there is one addition to the ground mining and FPS mining feature, what would it be? This is, I freaking love seeing this, dude. Getting specific feedback on, especially a question like this. Describe in your own words what are the consequences of having the rock reach the red zone. This is like such a freaking important thing for them to do. Holy crap. How many of you would say that you are not made aware of when you're taking damage in your ship when you get shot? And it's just be so great to have the vehicle team come out and be like, in your own words, describe to us what happens to your ship when you're receiving damage. And everybody could come out and just be like, dude, add these kinds of lights. Can we get these kinds of alerts? Can something give me a heads up warning? I like being able to deliver this kind of feedback because it means that they're actually going to try and attempt to change, like the people who are working on mining. As long as they are focused on the mining, I assume they could take this feedback and help it improve the updates that they do throughout the year continuously. Because this is part of the playability push. This is part of the whole, we're going to fix the game. It's not just the glitches and the bugs and falling through the floor that they need to fix. It's also making sure that the gameplay that they're making specifically for newcomers is intuitive, reliable, and interesting. This Wednesday for the cooking stream, you will be blindfolded and I will have headphones on with loud music. I will try to get blind you to make food while not being... Oh my God. Mrs. Tomato, you're crazy. That's going to be fun. I look forward to that. Yeah, we need a lot more audio feedback for damage. Oh my God, yeah, we do. No knives. Yeah, no knives allowed. Okay, so there was a little bit more feedback here. Somebody asked, whoa. Yo, this person made a great post. See, dude. Can we hear it for this? CIGM Merv DeGriff, thank you guys. Thanks for doing this. We appreciate that. That's what you get. Yeah. No, I love seeing just like a good exchange of asking for feedback and getting proper feedback. It's just such a nice change from like people being mad and shouting and stuff. And I get it. Sometimes you gotta shout, but I feel like when I see this, we're seeing the game actively take steps forward, even if it doesn't happen right now. It's at least being recorded. But what I really wanted to get to here was a reply to the whole thread. They said, thank you for all your feedback so far. We just updated the following bits based on the feedback you have been providing. The ground vehicle's lasers got their power buffed, reduced the time it takes to charge a rock fully, made it harder to mine FPS minables with the ground vehicle. It was not intended that it was that easy. Huh. So can you still mine FPS minables with the ground vehicle? Made the difference clearer between expert and beginner minables. Wonder how they did that. We'll have to try some FPS mining out at some point. To give you all a bit of context, the intention for the beginner minables is to introduce resistance, instability, and other parameters on their own, so you can learn how to handle these by either adjusting your mining laser or by your actions. We will introduce more varying minables over time that are more complex, or even rocks that are targeted for expert miners if you fancy a challenge. If you can find Genolite, you will see what I mean with expert rock. Anybody tried this out yet? Given this a go? Probably can, but it will be extremely difficult. Yeah, but I thought they were actually locking us out of affecting FPS minables. FPS mining means just the handheld stuff. Because like they said up here, just in this post, we have started to prepare the ground vehicle mining and FPS mining. We have split out FPS minables to not be minables that you're looking for when you're in your ground vehicles. So they didn't say to not be affected by ground vehicles. So it's actually possible that they might, I mean, if we can, because, okay, here's what I'm thinking. If they're giving us different mining lasers for the rock, before when you tried to mine an FPS mineable with the rock laser, it was too powerful. But if they're giving us different lasers, then there's gonna be some that are limited. And what if they start adding, what are they called? Man. What if they start adding passive components and active components to rocks, so you can even further decrease the level of the least powerful rock mineable? I'm just kind of going off the rails here with speculation. I just like the idea of experimenting and kind of breaking the game a little bit in that sense. But then going back to CitizenCon in the, no, not this one. Where's that Star Engine trailer they did? Here we go. There's that one scene here. See, like, you got FPS minables, right? You got vehicle minables, like, how much of that are we going to be able to overlap? Maybe there is more freedom of choice here than I thought. Why are they nerfing the heavy fighters? I don't understand, especially the F-8C. Maybe time to melt. I mean, they're just probably bringing them in balance. I wouldn't melt it based on the change they make. People melted their Corsairs because it got nerfed. Now it's back to being something else. Everything's going to change. Might be like trying to run rock minables with a prospector. Right, that's something I do think that they're actually going to limit us on. And minables will be in caves and stuff, so most of the time vehicles will not reach them anyway. Yeah, except for scenes like this, where they specifically advertise to us that rocks will be in caves mining alongside FPS. I know it's a trailer and, like, don't maybe trust the trailers, but this is a trailer to show their engine. Will it be produce enough gems and minerals to be worth the time spent? I don't know. But I think if CIG limits us based on what they dictate is worth it for us or not, then they're not making the game that they've been kind of touting. That's hover mode energy. Oh, hey, we see you're flying slow, so we're gonna make you go into VTOL flight. No. Just because I'm in a rock and an FPS mineable isn't valuable enough to me, doesn't mean you should force me to not be able to do it. Let a game live, let it breathe. The whole point that they're doing this, though, goes back to the mineral changes that they're making when it comes to resources in general. As of now, we've basically just been looking for a resource on its own, mostly to sell because they're not useful for anything else. But with crafting coming in the game, now they're all going to have their own reasons to exist. And so they're expanding the variety you can find and the value of them by adding in some quality parameters.
Dairy material you put in has an impact on the quantity and the time the refining process will take. An optional catalyst can speed up the process further. Let me give you a simple example. If you want high quality steel, you need to put in the best iron you have in the primary slot. You can put any quality coal in the secondary slot without affecting the quality of the steel. But the quality of the coal will influence how much of it you need to produce steel. As an example, if you put in low quality coal, you might require 4 SCU of coal versus high quality coal that only requires 2 SCU. This is one of the important use cases for low quality materials that Jacob mentioned.
I'm also thinking these catalysts might be something that you craft. They talked about catalysts in refining gameplay. So when we get a mineral and we go to the space station, we drop off the refinery jobs and then we come back to pick that stuff up. We're going to have to do the same thing when we're refining ourselves, but we'll have to buy or create catalysts that we then throw in to make these minerals and these resources come out better. It's just going to be an interesting system.
You can use refining stations in the world as they will be converted to this new process. You can build your own refineries for yourself, you can get your org to help you out, or you can simply trade for the materials that you need on the open market. Now, we are reaching the final step. You got the blueprints, you gathered resources, and refined materials. Now you can create the item you want. And this item can be anything. You will be able to craft anything from FPS equipment to vehicle components, even entire vehicles and buildings. You just need access to the relevant crafting machine.
Crafting is going to be wild. I'm mostly excited, though, to see what this whole resource variety does in terms of quality. It's pretty exciting stuff, especially because a lot of times CIG might be talking about something and then nothing really happens and you're not sure if it's all just going to come at once. You're kind of sitting in suspense. CIG, how many years? It's nice to see these things happening in real time in front of us in preparation for a system that they laid out a little while ago. This mining change is a pretty significant one. I don't think this is where they just mentioned a log push. It's significant that they're doing this kind of stuff right now because it's not dependent on features. And I'm just, as much as I love features, it sucks when everything's dependent on features because features break. We saw it last year with the hangars. That completely just destroyed the hype of the whole summer when hangars and freight elevators just caused so much trouble. So I think even with the way that they're doing these releases and these kinds of changes that really focus on playability, there's less chance that we won't actually see them coming into the game soon. So that's the mining update for 4.1. Hope that's a little bit interesting and you guys get the chance to try that out. If you are into mining, stay tuned. I'll probably do some of that gameplay sometime soon. Maybe Wednesday, maybe Friday. Depends on what's going on with the PTU because there's quite a few things to check out. Alrighty. Let us still no news about the PTU, huh? Lurking because you're at work but saw it and now you are curious. Curious about what? 15 minutes ago you played a video that was yeah, that's here. That's a Inside Star Citizen. Ironclad is rad. Haven't read much on the new baby dude, but it sounds a little like testing or crafting. In fact, he offers upgrades for mats. Oh, Banu. I was like, baby dude. Yeah, he does some crafting stuff, it seems, or upgrades, or hints at them, at least. Okay, my next little bit that we're going to go over today is mission givers, which I actually have quite a bit to touch on there. Mission givers, well, we'll get into that. I'm going to talk about this because I think this is a very good example of how much their focus has shifted from just push, develop the game to trying to deliver more of the like content-focused things that they have been putting off for a while. Mission givers are a big example of this. Oops. Nope. Come back up here. There we go. Thank you. I think mission givers, dang it, are a pretty big example of this on their own. Come on. There we go. Open PTU by Friday. Is that a prediction? Share the video I played about the Ironclad? Yes. Message of the day, new build today, hoping to open to all waves on Friday. Okay, so that is the, they're hoping to do, wow, all waves. See, there's another kind of sign of how much features slowed us down, man. Going through PTU and there's not much feature work to deal with. They opened Evocati last week, and they're trying to go open PTU by the end of this week. It reminds me of the older days, the 3.9, 3.10 kind of times when we would get through the whole Evocati cycle and PTU cycle in 1 month. New ship will be available in the PU. I'm sorry. Is that also in the message of the day, or are you just throwing out some curveballs to me? Don't curveballs at me, dude. It's rude. Loving the pace right now? Well, yeah. Up until last week, it was dead slow. We're currently putting together a new 4.1 build for a potential PTU release to Wave 1 later today. Goal is to open up to all backers by Friday. Tonight's build will have further collector and event updates. Nice. New ships in the PU shops. Beautiful. S0 mining lasers and rock mining bags in shops. Let's freaking go, dude. Ah! I love that we can take out the rock. We're going to do something rock related. I'm going to throw a rock mining event. That feels good, dude. The only thing that would make this better without making me extra... No, that's not true. Little cherry on top of this would be if the prospector mineral bags could be transferred. Just an ownership system, please. Rock and stone, brother. I need to get that as a sound bite, to be honest. Until I get that, I can just use... Get like a little mask that Copion just... Did I say Copion? I meant Copium. Now give us the Rock DS rework. You know what they need to do with the Rock DS? Just make the mining laser a utility mount and let us change the kind of tool that's on it. And then we can use it ourselves. What you saw of the Hathor places from your stream the other day look amazing. Yeah, dude, the Hathor locations look so freaking nice. I like them. Where's the Banu NPC? He is on... I don't know where he actually is. He calls you when you get to his asteroid bases. I think there's like 2 of them maybe, or 3 of them in the system. And I don't know, there's like a closed room in his base, so maybe that's where he is. Or maybe he's just going to be calling you during the during 4.1. Rock event for Saturday. I don't know about this Saturday. I feel like I had something to plan, but maybe. If there's nothing else going on, then yeah, PTU Rock event on Saturday sounds like a pretty good time, doesn't it? Rock DS with a tractor beam? Dude, that's a... goated. That's a Pog Rock if I've ever heard of one. Somewhere near Crusader. I don't know where he is. I think his stations are around Hurston and Microtech, maybe? But he's a physical NPC? No, he's a hologram. He's basically like Miles Eckhart combined with Ruto. Get that thing out of the game. Dude, I think a two-person ground vehicle with utility mount could be super useful. I just don't think it is for mining. The breathing threw you off. My bad. My bad, dude. How's everybody's day going so far? What are you guys up to? Who's walking around their living room procrastinating on something right now? Because I watch Paul stream when I do that. Let me get some of this off the screen. Too many tabs. Too many tabs.
Tell when we assess you.
All right, yeah, so this is going to talk a little bit about the mission. Hey, happy Monday, Wizard. Good to see you, man. Only a full body hologram, like upper half. I don't know. No, not a full body hologram. You can't see his toes, which is honestly a bit disappointing, CIG. Respect the man, or the thing, the alien, the it. I don't know. Daedalus, you need to study, but you're not feeling it today. You got tests coming up? Elf Crisis, chores and job searching. Not bad, not bad. Playing Power Wash, though. That's a pretty good time. You just got back from an 11-hour workday and still up to being called out again. PK. Dude, wait, why are they working you like that, man? InfoSec just got a new ship. What'd you get? Oh, Rock DS plus a railgun mount. That's pretty good. He is physical. When you call him, you can see him, which means he's somewhere in the game. Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, he's not actually a hologram. He is colored and physicalized, so he must be in the game world. That's a good point. So yeah, maybe he's in the closed off section. Just trying to gauge the progress, because if they got a fully modeled Banu as a hologram, that's a bigger deal than a face. Well, with the way that they do I mean, Zarek makes a really good point. A face on an MFD isn't just a screen. It's not a face. The way that the videos work in this game, and I think other games, some games do this, it's something called render to texture. So whenever you see somebody in the game, whether it's Agent Dooley giving you a call or any of the other number of people who are supposed to give you a call but don't right now, that's not a video clip playing. That's the person in game doing that thing somewhere in the game world, and then the game is recording that and sending it to you. So if we are seeing him, then technically they modeled the Banu. But it's not like he's, doing Banu things. He just talks to you and tells you he needs stuff. It's your week on call. Have it every 9 weeks, so not that bad. Is that rollover from last week? Because I thought you were on call over the weekend. Rock DS with salvage attachment would be great. That'd be cool. Although I would much prefer a rock with the salvage attachment, to be honest. No, he's not an NPC walking around. What's Banu things, dude? I don't know. If I know. That's for CIG to come up with. Probably meet him inside. There was a nice sitting area. Well, you better have a nice sitting area if he's making us gather 24 SCU of horns. I know it's not 24 SCU. Okay, let's talk about mission givers. Since we're talking about mission givers already, we're having a good talk about Wikelo. A new mission giver has been added to Star Citizen, and his name is Wikelo, and he is not human. No, he's a Banu. And so far we haven't met him in game. You can get called by him, and you can talk to him. And while this is a hologram that's not interactive, a good point brought up by Zarek in chat just now is that when you do call him, or when he calls you, I guess, you see his full body. And that's important to keep in mind, or not his full body, but you see him in color, in action. Important to keep in mind because through render to texture technology, that does mean that he's somewhere in the game world doing those things you're seeing in the call. So, since we can't access the actual store that he owns in the space stations around the star system, it's possible he's back there, and we will end up meeting him, and we just haven't gotten the chance because it's still wave 1 of PTU. By the time you see this, it might be wave 2 or even wave 3, or heck, we might have gone open because I don't know when this is releasing throughout the week. But this is a look into why it's a big deal that he's coming in, not just as a Banu, but as a mission giver, and the kind of journey that we've gone through to get there. Starting all the way back with the very old first time we saw a mission giver. What if 2 people call him at once? Does his model go all wild? They'll probably instance the model or something. Or if maybe they call at the same time. Like if you're in the same ship, you'll probably get the same person doing the same thing. Because it's at the exact same time. But if there's multiple people, I'm guessing they just instance it. But maybe they fake it and then do videos instead. Saw Elliot call him Wicklow in a tweet, so you think the E is silent. Maybe Wicklow is a very hip nickname. Yeah, people have been getting inside the not just the station. The station is open. It's the back room that you have to glitch into. But he's not back there just yet. But I wanted to show you this because this is the very beginning. This is where we all started with mission givers. This is the introduction of the first mission giver and what the idea behind them was supposed to be. So I'm just going to let this whole section play out for you. This is back in Levski, which was the first place we were able to land. This is the first showing off of a planetary location in the new version of Star Citizen in 3.0, which was 2017, but you get the idea. This is where it all began with mission givers.
Stations moving around, so you sort of feel like it's a living world, whether there's 50 other players there or there's just you. So let's just head up here. We're going to find Cafe Muzan, which is where Miles Eckhart is hanging out.
This is before 3.0 came out, but this was supposed to show what 3.0 would be.
There you go. And there you go. Looks like there's Miles there in the corner.
Glad you could make it. Grab a seat.
All right.
Sorry for the locale. Don't look like much, but the homemade stuff has some kick. Anyway, a job came in late last night. Some idiot hauler cut through low-sec space, got his crew vented. Company needs to retrieve the ship's black box to claim insurance on the lost cargo. Should be a romper job. Get in, get out. All my people are tied up with bigger ops. So I figured I could use this as a chance to make a new friend. I'll send the details. Let me know if you're interested.
He's like, hey, I need you to fly all the way out here and sit with me in the bar, and then I'm just going to send you the email to give you the job.
So we can either accept or decline, but we're going to check the details first. So let's pull it up. So there's the log. So the mission that we can take is the Dunder Sunbeam 4, which is a Starfarer. It's attacked by outlaws yesterday. Crew and cargo presumed lost. Unfortunately, the pilot deviated from intended path into unmonitored space in an ill-conceived attempt to shave time off their route.
Dude, look at that freaking UI. Like, the lines on the squares don't even render correctly.
The shipping needs the black box data retrieved from the wreck in order to be reimbursed by an insurance company for the lost cargo. So the deliverables, the black box data from the Dundon Sunbeam 4, and we'll be paid 3,000 credits for that. So sounds like a mission we should take, so let's do that. Okay. There you go. Let's accept.
Great. Here's the tracking address for the ship. Let me know once you have the black box data.
Okay, we have a new objective, retrieve the black box. So let's head back out to the landing area and meet Chris up, and let's go look for a black box.
Okay. So it's a really basic mission. It's just like you go out, you get a ship, fly out with your crew to another planet,
Chris,
fight some people. You got to go and infiltrate a derelict ship and like fight some more people, and then you find some information.
Black box. Poof. Download complete.
Get the black box.
3,000 credits.
And then that gives you more.
I'll send it off. Great job. You know, I'm just gonna throw this out, but I ended up talking to a couple of contacts of mine. Turns out the pack that hit that ship are squatting in an old facility on that nearby moon. I'm just talking here, but it's not crazy to think that they're keeping the cargo there. These outlaws are scum, so it's not like anyone will miss them. The company's gonna claim the insurance. So it wouldn't technically be stealing if you happen to head on down and take it. Again, I'm not saying anything here. I'm just gonna send along a location on that moon and do what you want.
So, that, I think that's a little more indicative of what people like about quest givers. The voice acting, the actual back and forth, but also this whole there's multiple points here. You're not just going and doing a mercenary mission, killing some people in a bunker and leaving. You're not just going and picking up some cargo, taking it a place and getting paid. You're going and completing an objective and then hearing about some complication with the mission and then getting to go and do something else. You know, you find some extra loot, you go down to a new location, you figure out that part of the mission, and at the end of the whole thing, you can even get backstabbed.
All right. Well, I guess that's one way to get rid of pirates. Okay, so let's see what they were hiding here on the base.
Yeah, I really wish we could see our helmets again in the HUD. It's annoying they took that away.
Okay, here we go. All right. A Big Betty's crate, as he always says, and
a whole bunch of loot boxes you can't use. This was so long before we had loot in the game.
So again, here's sort of an example of the inner thought. So let's pick it up. There we go. So little grabby hands action. So you'll be able to move and take things around as I've mentioned before. So let's take him out. You want to land? Doesn't want to drop. Right, can go check that out.
Okay, here we go.
Hang on, we got an incoming video message. Let's check that out. What's that, dude? Chris should come out and get the box. Hang on a sec.
Okay, so I think actually, when he says something like a video message, it might be that they differentiate between when they use render to texture and when they just record a video. Not sure.
So, find anything good? If you don't mind, I'll just have a look myself.
That doesn't sound very good. Don't know about that. What do you reckon, guys?
The way they used to try and do these.
Ups to daisy. Looks like we got double-crossed. Damn it.
Okay. Imagine he just like, what the who put this in the demo? They weren't supposed to be here. So mission giver is given a more of a like the ability for missions to be more custom and fun. And I think that's really what excites people the most about it. It's not just the idea that they are mission givers, but mission givers come with higher expectations. And now that we're starting to see mission givers come back in, the spotlight is going to be kind of on if they can meet those expectations. Like, can we actually get missions that do all this? Because right now, Wikello is just giving us missions to go get stuff. It's just the same kind of mission in a way, being assigned by a voice person. And that's the next step. It's what people have been wanting. But, you know, we could get all excited for mission givers and then they come in and they don't actually make that big a difference. But I want to explain sort of what the whole point of them is. So easiest way to understand the way they work is just to watch what they have to say about reputation, because they're a big part of reputation. They will be their representatives of the factions that we are. You know what? Instead of doing this, let's do the... Let's look at the 1.0 talk real quick, because they do mention factions and their representatives are what mission givers are now.
Let's talk more about the... So, let's walk through them. We're also looking to act as a governing body for POIs, station, star, massive, but that's our starting 5. Each system and each planet will be featuring the massive level of outposts, POIs, stations, biomes, and exploration options that we've been perfecting with Stanton and Pyro, and you've been seeing in some of the other presentations this weekend. But we're adding one more level. We're also going to be adding location stories. Now, these will be short, NPC-driven missions sprinkled across our landing zones and cities that will exist outside of the main story, but will help provide an additional bit of lore and character to the location that they take place in.
I wonder when we see the first location story coming in, because I don't think we have any right now. These would need to be things that you could replicate over and over. They can't be like attack Pyro, right?
So, that's our main story. Let's talk more about the guilds that Rich mentioned. First, a quick recap. Guilds act as a governing body for clusters of professions and factions with a reputation and progression system that will offer rewards the more you work for them.
That's important.
And I want to call out 2 things. One, I'm not going to have time to dive into all of the missions that you're going to see on this board, but just know that every mission type is either in the 1.0 roadmap or already in production. And second, we're also looking to move missions away from the Moby-Glass whenever possible. Sure, it will always be an easy way for us to get additional game content in, but we want you talking with people. So...
See, people have wanted that for a while, and I think even since 4.0, it's becoming more and more clear when missions got a little bit more restricted.
So to aid that, we're going to be adding characters to represent the factions that you'll be working for that will help sell their personality.
So that's the idea. Wikello is probably going to be a character that represents a faction that we might work with elsewhere. I think there's also a good possibility we'll see somebody come in to represent Rayari, for instance. We have Constantine Hurston, who's representing Hurston. Miles Eckhart represents his. So these mission givers are not just mission givers. They're like important NPCs. And I think they're going to be not as serious as what Miles Eckhart originally looked like. We're going to be finding people like this who are bartenders, who are cargo deck hands, who can just kind of give you a little contract here or there when you drop by.
Now, some, they'll still interact with you via the written word, but some will call and check in on your performance. And others, you may have to meet in person from time to time. So, let's walk through them.
And I think Rich might have mentioned this briefly here.
Take them on a journey of discovery of what the game has to offer. This story will become the spine of the universe and help onboard players with understanding how to play the game and understand what's available to them. This story will also introduce each of our guilds and what professions we have to offer. Like the United Resource Workers, our core industrial guild, which supports 2 of our main professions, mining and salvaging. They also support many other features and professions, like repair technician, crafter, and builder. Guilds are hugely important in Star Citizen, and as you know by now, guilds are comprised of many factions. As you work for each of these factions, you will gain guild reputation. You can then use this reputation as a currency to purchase guild-affiliated rewards, like ships, blueprints, and items. And each guild will have a unique inventory of what they offer. Alongside economic growth, guild reputation will become a core progression of the game. And to talk more about guilds and our main story, I'd like to introduce David Haddock onto the stage.
So with that being said, you can now look at the 4.1 stuff that they've been doing. Where is this it? No, this was not it. This is awkward. .1 feedback thread. I just want the... Hold up. 4.1 first look at item recovery. No, we want 4.1. Where the heck is the feedback? There we go. There we are. 4.1 feedback, item recovery, ground vehicle stuff, misfortune. Where the heck are the patch notes, man? That's all I want. I hate how hard it is to find these things. See, this doesn't... It's not in announcements, is it? No. Do I have to like log in to see it? Yeah, I'm just looking for the freaking patch notes. Oh, God. Okay. Either way, doesn't matter. Basically, don't worry about it. Don't worry about patch notes. This is just about the fact that they're introducing these factions. So we know that we have seen some new security faction. I don't remember who they're called. Rayari is getting reputation now. Hathor, I think, might be getting rep. I'm not sure. So they're starting to build out this idea of reputation, representatives, factions, and then also guilds like the Bounty Hunting Guild is taking over a lot of missions. So here is another sort of reminder of how reputation works, just something to solidify that understanding.
Track your different levels of career proficiency with different kinds of gameplay. Within scopes, we have this concept of standings. These are the ranks that you move through from negative whatever to positive whatever, and we can tell when we assess you either through the missions or the mission givers or NPCs or however they are looking at you, what standing you are at. One of the things that we are very excited to have is these reputations giving you things when you get to those higher standings. The idea is that this is giving you benefits and rewards for progressing through the game. It's a progression system at its heart. The other thing that I'm really excited about with this coming out is the concept of allowing for group building and community building with this by allowing you to bring something unique to your group of friends table. You might have a reputation with a certain organization at a high level that your other friends don't, and you've maybe done a little bit of extra work to maintain that, get that up there, etc. And as a result, you're able to bring in something cool like a mission that normally they wouldn't be able to do. Plus, everybody likes bragging rights. We all know that you're going to be putting up screenshots on the subreddit or whatever saying, look at all these reputations I have at max, look at what I'm able to maintain, all that. We're darn excited about how that's going to play out potentially.
The thing is that there's a lot of complication when it comes to putting people in missions that with certain reputations. What if you join a mission and you bring along somebody who has a negative rep with the faction that you joined the mission for? You're just going to have, are these people going to shoot you because you're associated with them and they are shoot on sight? You basically just going to have to, you're going to have to make the call as a player and be like, you can't join me on this. I'm going to show up to the outpost and they're going to start shooting at us. I'm sorry, but you can't be on this mission. And then what happens if you don't know that faction is going to be there during that mission? Like, there's a lot of complications with reputation, which is kind of exciting. I think the not sharing missions outside of rep thing could work. It's just a matter of we need an easy way to communicate contract sensitive information still. So that's a little look into reputation. Now to look at who the true first mission giver was, courtesy of Cameral. Big shout out to the guy who does YouTube content. He got all of the different dialogue together for our very first Tessa Bannister, who was a mission giver in the game actually before 3.0. Did all voice line stuff, had pretty great overall like banter with the player, and just made you feel more comfortable playing the game and flying around. Completely gone though. The one interesting thing is that Tessa Bannister's name has, this is a spoiler by the way, so if you don't like spoilers and you don't want to hear about that kind of thing for 4.1, I'm going to give you a moment to close your ears for a cool second. Tessa Bannister has shown up in the files of 4.1 as a possible connection to Wikello. So we might be able to see her coming back in soon. And they have said themselves over time that Tessa Bannister will at some point return to Star Citizen. But here's a throwback for any of you who remember.
Random ship. Hi, welcome to the neighborhood. Second class junior cartographer Tessa Bannister reporting in. I'm the eyes behind all the ICC scan probes in the area. What these little guys see, I see. Which, yes, means I can totally see you. Right now. Anyway, there was actually a reason to why I commed. I'm sort of not allowed to leave my post. Important jump point scanning and all. So, I was hoping you might be able to help me with something. Second, could you check out these coordinates?
There are a lot of these. All over the place. You just fly around and she'd basically be like an exploration/science mission giver. You'd show up at a location and she'd ping you for something you needed to go do. And there were actually...
Hell, you saved my life. I won't forget it.
There are some cool, like, voice clips where... Let's see if any of them...
Got hit by some trouble out there. Glad you scraped through. Hey! Got something for you.
Next spot.
Drop whatever you're doing. 2 words. Distress bacon. Beacon. Distress beacon. Sorry, I didn't have breakfast. Forget it. Just go help, okay?
So yeah, it's just, this is amazing. Imagine being assigned to just go to random distress beacons and see what you find there. Maybe you find somebody you can help. Maybe you just find some good loot. Maybe there's nothing. This is content. They could really easily put in like 8 missions that have to do something like this that don't take much narrative. It'd be really cool if they could just reuse the audio from these two, but I bet they're outdated.
Do right by me, okay? Yes, I am so happy to see you. So I'm getting a strange signal on my scan. It's saying it can't ID it. That's odd, right? IDing stuff is kind of what scans do. Anyway, not mine, apparently, because I have no clue what they found. Giving you the codes in case you're interested in scoping it out. Day 73. Very excited to be coming up to Cruise.
Oh, so here's like, so you could even go and find data pads and stuff, man. We need this back.
Beacon, by the way. Because I realized I might be the only one who calls them DB. Day 73. Very excited to be coming up to Crusader. Ever since the jump point, I've been working out a rough schedule of what to visit. And by my estimation, I can sightsee for 4 hours if I want to keep my schedule for the rest of the system. Oh, that's weird. Just got an alert that says an airlock was triggered. I swear, the new operating system is designed to not work with these older models. So, anyway, still undecided about
Oh, she shouldn't ignore that.
or not. This is already kind of...
Oh, shit. Dang. Dude, see? Why can't we get more stuff like that? Honestly, I thought she just blew an airlock and went. I thought we weren't going to hear anything. Just gone from the ship. So yeah, a little bit more narrative, a little bit more voice acting, a little bit of stuff like that would be great. And I think that's part of why people have been so wanting for this to come back. The big problem is, as many of you have realized over the years, Star Citizen couldn't run AI. So there was a very, very clear cutoff of trying to bring them into the game. You go back to the roadmap, we did this a little bit earlier today, and you look at all of the updates we've ever had for Star Citizen going all the way back to 3.0. You can see that when they first started releasing these, they were having mission givers pretty regularly come into the game. So Miles Eckhart came in with 3.0, I believe. After him, see, I don't think there was anybody in 3.1 or 2. But 3.3 had Recco Pataglia. She was included in Levski, and she gave out, she's in charge of salvage kinds of missions, salvage and repair stuff. In 3.5, we got Clovis Darneely. He was added in at Lorville, and he gave you a mission to go find a wrecked satellite. In 3.4, we got Constantine Hurston. He's also in Lorville. And I don't even know what kind of missions he would give you, but he also was a mission giver. In that same month, Wallace Klim came in as a little bit more of a unlawful mission giver who could get you into some sketchier stuff. And he worked against Ruto, who also was in the game at this point, but I don't remember when he was added. In 3.5, they added Tisha Pacheco, who we're going to look at here, because she was actually the last mission giver to ever be added to Star Citizen. Yes. Back in April of 2019, the last mission giver was put in the game. Now, there were a couple more. There was Eddie Parr, who is supposed to be a bartender at Microtech. You can actually find him. He's the bartender at New Babbage. He just doesn't give missions. He still will serve you. There is, I think his name is Devin Bautista. And him, and also a woman named, can't remember their names. Devin Bautista and advocacy. Lisa Gibbs. That's it. Devin Bautista and Lisa Gibbs work for the advocacy, and they were supposed to be two mission givers based in Orison. Michael Shaw is a mission giver, I think, who... I don't think he was ever put into the game either. And Luca Brunt is the racing guy. He was never put in game either. So they stopped and didn't continue on these AI because AI is broken, and we all recognize that pretty strongly. Pretty hard to add VA work, scheduling, recording, editing, effects, dialogue, scripting. Yeah, the motion capture, scheduling, all that kind of stuff, only to have it break on release because the game can't handle it. Yeah, I get that. To try and make a bunch of these people to build the game up and then have it not work at all because the back end can't support it, I would cut them too. I wouldn't keep developing them. I'd be like, guys, we need to fix the game first. So they shelved it until server meshing allowed AI to start running better, which we've noticed in the last few months. So it's not a coincidence then that we are now seeing AI coming back into the game as mission givers. And you can go back to some of the monthly reports from last year because the narrative team was preparing for this. We remember when narrative came out and said we're going to start putting more of our stuff in the game and not in jump points. These monthly reports from last year talk about these kinds of things. As part of the scoping of responsibility for 1.0, they looked into taking a larger role in the oversight and maintenance of the social AI. This includes reviewing and adjusting existing civilian behaviors so the personalities of the various locations and landing zones come through. The team is also prototyping new behavior types that will appear throughout some upcoming locations as well as previously established ones. So the idea of working together to get AI into a position of reflecting where they are was part of the workflow last year. You can also see that they're talking a little bit about their location stories for major landing zones, with team members working with design to tailor the story of the gameplay. Again, you need characters for that kind of stuff. And then another one here says, the narrative team began 2025 meeting with multiple disciplines to solidify new ways of delivering in-game narrative content. They also focused on increasing the number of characters that players will meet in the verse. This is a focus for them. And it's become pretty clear over the last year. Here is another report from a monthly report saying the team continued to iterate on future narrative initiatives designed to bring more character and stories to the universe. This resulted in a series of proposals that they've been reviewing with design. They also continue to outline ways to improve AI behaviors to sell more of the Star Citizen lore. So mission givers and the AI that you're just walking around in the game in general are more a focus now than they were before. Now I want to show you guys the last mission giver we ever got, which was Tisha Pacheco, and what they were saying about her at that time to, I guess, give you an idea of where they were headed at least.
So you were there when they filmed Twitch,
yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yep.
Hi to you guys. So you were there when they filmed Twitch. Type of character, you're working. So we're in the process.
To create the flavor of each new location are the people who inhabit it.
Yes, let's go to Josh Herman and Jeremiah Lee to take a look at the new mission giver waiting for you when ArcCorp arrives. So we're in the process of building our new mission giver for 3.5, Twitch Pacheco, or Tisha Twitch Pacheco.
Voice actors all have mics, dude. It's not just voice acting. Look. This takes so much more work than asking someone to send in a line on a mic. Hell, as somebody who has sent in voice lines for a project, it is not as simple as just recording something and sending it in. Come on, man. That's a decent amount of work. Like the finishing of it and everything, you gotta have high quality.
Let's hope your execution matches your enthusiasm.
Pacheco as a character has a little bit of a richer past where she's gone through some hardships.
A former operative in Blackjack Security, and she got into a horrible accident, causing her to suffer some nerve damage. She was ultimately let go, and she had some animosity towards Blackjack Security because of that.
But she tries to hide that. She doesn't want to put that down. She still wants to kind of be herself, be this badass that she's always been as a soldier. And we wanted to communicate that through her costume, allow some personality through some of her other elements.
Pacheco was heavily inspired by Blade Runner and also a lot of the 80s and 90s sci-fi film. Her also being in the crime syndicate, we didn't want her to be wearing pants or a shirt. We want her to be a little bit of protective gear, some combat stuff here and there, but nothing too heavy. She wanted to be a little bit incognito, so she'd have like a hood to cover her face or her identity a little bit.
Still wearing it.
So with Pacheco's hair, the number one thing that we wanted to try was a very different style. First off, it gives her personality and makes her stand out, and it feels like it fits her to begin with. But also, we wanted to make sure that we were able to do that with our new hair tech.
I wanted to look special, and I wanted to not give her just a regular plain Jane type of hair. I wanted her to have...
We never saw her hair. Even now that they've gotten the hair into the game, I guess they'll probably update it whenever they update her, but there was so much talk about this hair, and then we never really got to see it. We do miss Jaylee. Jaylee, where are you at? Not talking about this, talking about the Dooley, Agent Dooley. Actually, Agent Dooley was also mocapped. We had her, the actress who played her, on the podcast. She had to do quite a bit of work there. There are times when they can send in voice lines, but again, there was no point in doing it before server meshing worked because the game would just break all of the things that they try to do. Even the voice lines they did sparingly sometimes would play wrong because the back end couldn't like load them in the right time. So I am guessing we're going to see more of this now that the back end is there, and that's why we're seeing it and the NPCs around the cities, and with the mission giver coming in. But my whole point is it all comes back to the fact that the game couldn't support this AI development, so they just kind of dropped it. And we're only just now seeing it come back in, which could be a really big boon for content and for making the game feel a little better to play.
A little bit of possibly hidden culture, and she looks badass, man.
So since this is all very work in progress with our hair pipeline, and we're trying to finalize that now, if it's not completed for 3.5, we're not going to let that stop us for the release of Pacheco in 3.5. So I hope the hair is released for 3.5. Oh, fingers crossed it's ready for that. When players see Pacheco and that they're excited and that they get to see a new style, a new type of character, we have a lot of already bad guys, and this is going to add to that group, but we're excited to kind of bring a different flavor of bad guy to you guys.
So you were there when they filmed Twitch,
yes.
right? Yeah.
Yep, back in 2016.
That's awesome. So, you know.
2016 they filmed it. They're gonna have to call her to come do more freaking mocap. That is wild. So that was the last mission giver we got, and let's see what else do they have to say about that.
Was there anything unique about her?
Just about the voice acting,
especially like with her performance or anything?
Mocap.
It was actually the first one we shot in that shoot, which was a fun thing, but she's got kind of a chip on her shoulder, and hence why she's sort of gone over to the dark side and is sort of working for the criminals that she had been previously locking up. And the actress really kind of took that and ran with it.
Walk away and don't come back. We see you anywhere near our operations, you're dead.
A lot of her line readings with that rage and that kind of anger and pathos to it to really bring the character to life.
That's awesome. And then you were just in the UK filming again. What were you out there doing?
We were doing some pickup stuff for Squadron 42.
Oh,
little character vignettes. Yep.
There she is.
What were you out there doing?
Was that?
We were doing some.
Is that Anna? That's literally Agent Dooley right there in the mocap. Wait, really? Was she there that early? I thought that would have been
Pickup stuff for
Xenothreat.
Squadron 42, kind of little character vignette stuff for the players to hopefully discover.
No, that's not Anna. Never mind.
And we were also doing some PU kind of wildline
Squadron
character
stuff
pickups to help support kind of the law system that Design's working on.
Exciting life you lead, Dave.
It's I'm very tired.
That's right. Awesome. So there's some also some radical new firepower coming to PU in Alpha 3.5. Here's
R97.
Johnny DeCivius and Jacob Mathis with deep.
Dude, that's exciting.
Precision.
Oh no, this is S71. What a great gun. What a great gun. All the way back when that was being introduced. See, that's a little bit of a look at like where mission givers are coming from and why people are interested in them. Now, I don't know what they're going to do with them. I don't know how far they're going to take this. I do think that there's a lot riding on this idea of building familiarity with these factions and making sure their representatives are actually representing. And there's a lot to get from it. I think this will expand the game a lot this year. I just don't, we still don't know how far it's going to go past what we're seeing with Wikello. And so, until then, that's what we know about mission givers. Hope you got something from it. If you remember 3.5, also remember to take your afternoon ibuprofen. S71 does still slap hard. That is a great weapon. I freaking love that gun. Whew. All right, y'all. I'm going to give you a little something to watch while I go to the bathroom. And then I'll come back and we can talk something else. While I'm gone, hit me up with what you guys want to talk about. 4.1, Star Citizen stuff, whatever it might be. And I will give you a chance to look at some concept
What are we
art,
looking
I
at
guess.
here? This was the...
I'll be
I
right
can't
back.
remember which number design this was, but this was meant to be like it's similar-ish to the Mantis, actually. So it was like, had some inspiration from that. So it's got on the front, it's got its little grabbies for doing its salvage stuff.
So the salvage arms will come out of these things here in the front?
Yeah, they did like come out, or they'd be like, we're not sure how much movement it's going to have on it yet, so there's still a lot of interpretation there, but it's also got like the little frilly bits on the side, like what the Vulture's got for the fracture field for disintegrating stuff. I quite like that one.
And I think it's very cool. Chat's taking to this one really well.
Hell yeah!
Looks like a kind of a
chat. Is it real?
It looks like a cover car, sort of. It's kind of cool.
Do you like that?
And then there's this guy.
This guy, he's a bit much more stereotypical RSI, I guess. It's like kind of got a Zeusy silhouette. So it's a lot flatter.
This one.
But it's also got its big salvage grabbies on the front.
Who makes the Pisces? Oh, I can't remember what manufacturer is the
Anvil.
Pisces. Huh?
Anvil?
Yeah. But I definitely, you know, I look at this and I see some Pisces influence and everything. But we have this conversation all the time. Car makers ape each other left and right. You know, when Dodge brought that first Challenger back, or was it Charger or the Challenger? I can't remember which one came before. And then suddenly you saw Mustang emulate it. You saw everybody started making, you know, all throwbacks and stuff. So I see some Pisces stuff in here. But yeah, there's no mistaking the Zeus influence.
Yeah, it's like
and the RSI.
It wasn't exactly meant to have the same sort of Zeus at first, but then I looked at it, I was like, hang on, looks quite similar. So I'm gonna say it was on purpose, actually. Yeah.
And again, the brief here is a salvage starter. So this is the entry-level ship. Like when we say starter, I mean like you could start your Star Citizen journey with this.
Yeah,
one.
it's pretty like.
And obviously you would upgrade to things like the Fortune or the Mole and stuff later on. That's like that. But a place to start with salvage. And then our third and final look. This is bold.
I quite like this one personally. This one was my, I guess, favorite of them, but it's not up to me. I just make the pictures.
Looks nice.
It's quite sharp, maybe a little too sharp, some people might say, but I think it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty RSI. It would have you can't see it from this view, but it would have the cargo comes out the back. Only holds a few cargoes. Don't expect to be hauling massive like claims in this, but. I think he's neat. We'll see how it goes.
There's this idea in the community. We'll zoom out. We'll zoom out here and see if we can get it there. There's this idea in the community that manufacturers are static and never evolving.
Hey everybody.
That every single
We're back.
ship from Anvil needs to look like a variation of
what did I
one.
miss?
Every single ship of
Pause. What did I miss? Let's chat. Let's talk. Oh! Freaking wheel locks, man. Talking mode. What did you guys learn today? What did we learn today? What has it been? Oh, now the game can handle it right, so now they'll do way more of it? I think so. We will see. But I mean, since 4.0 came in, NPCs have started talking voice lines. A new mission giver has been announced. 3 new factions have been added. AI are running better on missions. Yeah, I think now it seems like things are happening a lot faster in that regard. But we'll see if they can stick with it. Don't talk about why the orb is all-knowing. Also, if the orb were clothes, would the orb be a Jean orb or a Slacks orb? I think it'd be corduroy. Softy orb. Get in battle, take some substantial damage, send the snub out to gather some materials to get near full functional. Yeah, these probably fit inside of a Carrack or something, right? These are salvaging ships, by the way, not mining ships. Although, to be quite honest, the only one that I feel like really gets me is this one. But even this looks like a runabout, kind of. I don't get an industrial feel from it. From RSI, I guess, isn't crazy on industrial stuff. Coming from the Orion, though. I think there's a lot of systems. Having a system where that takes effect would be interesting, but a high reward system. High reward star system. You get an Arastra feel from it? Oh, that's right. RSI does the Arastra too. Yeah, I could see kind of some connection there. You want to talk about the flight model? Why do you want to talk about the flight model? You don't get the sub-sized salvager. It's either going to have bespoke beams that are worse than the cinch beams, or it's going to be better than the Fortune. Maybe there's going to be size 0 beams. Or they could just be size 1 beams that are weaker than the ones that the Fortune has. But this fits more places, lower signature. So it might just be more convenient. It's also probably cheaper. It would just be an opportunity for people to start out in a smaller ship. Curious how they'll maintain the RSI style on the Orion. Well, the Orion is built to look different, right? That was just built at a different time with a different idea than the other RSI ships. If CIG didn't spend so much resources on CitizenCon and trusted someone else to make it happen, do you think that would help or hinder production? I don't know, man. That's a big kind of thing to make a call on. It depends on how well CitizenCon goes. Like, CitizenCon 2023 saved CIG that year. I would say if they had skipped CitizenCon 2023, they'd probably be in a worse position, because that really brought funding back in, showing people what was coming. But at the same time, if they didn't have CitizenCon, then that information probably already would have been known by the players. It's just a matter of how much bigger of a benefit do you get from centralizing and concentrating all of that information at CitizenCon versus letting it leak out throughout the year. I think concentrating it gets normal people's attention more. Whereas if they were releasing this stuff throughout the year, it might not hit as hard in the press. Abnormal, thanks for becoming a member, dude. Became a carrot over there on YouTube. Appreciate you, buddy. Figured you hear enough, you should just join. Well, thank you. Make sure to check out the videos too. Exclusives. We don't know how much they put into CitizenCon. Also, a lot of the money from CitizenCon used to, I don't know if it still does, come from these subscriptions and not from the development funds. So subscriptions that are paid for people monthly generally went into the shows like this, Star Citizen Live, Inside Star Citizen, and CitizenCon stuff. Don't know how that works anymore. Abnormal saved you from a griefer a couple of days ago? Let's see. So it's a capital mining ship manufactured by RSI, a mobile mining platform. Largest civilian vehicle sold by RSI, largest mining ship in Star Citizen. It doesn't really say anything about why it looks so different. I think it was just, you know, they were just in that mood. I don't know, ask Artificial CD. The reason is it's old. Yeah, but this is like a wildly different design from the other RSI ships. Because this is before, this is 2015, this is after other stuff. Here we go, concept sales page. Premier spatial mining platform, advanced mining operations, onboard accommodations, while industrial and style support for all crew extended during mining runs, genuine complete mining solution, centerpiece of a large-scale operation. Yeah, they don't talk about it at all. First time limited sale. Nothing. see aliens in the title? Yeah, we were talking about the Banu coming into the game through the start of a mission giver. Well, they're not even mentioning an in-lore time of when this ship was made, which is kind of important. That's what tells us why RSI made it the way it looks. But I don't see anything about that. Any lore on the Orion? Not that I know of. I'm not seeing anything mentioned here. Ship shape, they just got a ship shape on it.
The Orion is sort of like an endgame mining ship. So I think currently at the moment it's going to be the largest mining ship in the game.
So basically it's got like a tractor beam and a cutter at the front. So that'll take in and cut up asteroids. And then it's going to be dragged through the entire ship. So it's basically like a funnel where it's taken into a refinery and then split and spun out into these big tanks on the side where it can be deposited or sold.
You use it to take on sort of corporations in terms of like mining and transporting ore and stuff like that. So this thing can just go and eat like entire asteroid fields, just sort of mosey around, just eating stuff.
Because the ship's so massive, it's very difficult to turn. So instead of turning it to face what you want to mine, you would just reach out and grab it and pull it towards you. As well as the mining, it can refine them as well. So we've got ideas for like, you've got the bit at the front, which is the mining part where all the asteroids would be dragged into. And
sorry guys, just looking at these files.
Muncher thing, and then along after that is the refinery, which no other mining ship has. What that does, you can set it to look for certain things in what you've mined. You could just stuff an asteroid in the front, and then it will sort out what you find in it. So you can punch in, I want to look for iron or a certain type of mineral or something, and it will just search through that and put it away. And we can have it sort the ores in those. There's like 12 rotating cubes on the back, the cargo pods. We can say like, this cube's for iron, this cube's for gold, and it will do that for you. So you can just happily let it go once you've set it up how you want.
So because it all comes in through the front, through the mining laser, there's a central corridor chute that runs through the entire ship. So that's sort of defined this hexagonal shape that builds up all the walls. So in each of the rooms, you can kind of see it's slanted. It's not traditional squares with slanted walls. It's that the walls themselves actually slant in almost every room. So that's going to be pretty unique about this ship.
There's not much room around for
this is pretty old. This is 2019, I think.
To fit all that in, which is
2017.
good because in the original...
Look at how much freaking bigger this ship got. This was the one they originally made. This just goes to show how much their ships grow after they figured out how to actually concept them for the real game. This is why so many of the old ships need to be reworked.
Scale. It
Look at
was
this.
a bit too small for the final mining ship you would get. So it would be a bit disappointing to get it. Because originally it was only half the length of the Idris. You would like your...
He freaking described this as a bit too small. Look at what the heck they did to this ship, man.
Absolute final, most expensive mining ship to be a thing of like, oh, it's massive and could do loads of stuff. So we've scaled it up pretty much 100% bigger than it was, just to be able to fit all the stuff in and for it to be impressive.
It's very much industrial. So the center section is going to be quite open plan and very mechanical feeling. And then we're going to have to try and have habitation areas a lot brighter and more personal. So it's going to be, again, sort of just trying to balance that.
What we've done with the interior is we focused it around the ore funnel, and it's got that RSI sort of trapezoid, rhombus sort of shape. So that's all arrayed around that ore funnel. So you have the ore funnel in the center, corridors either side of that, and then branching off of that is rooms on top and around. And as you run through the ship, you're always aware of that ore funnel. I suppose it'll be making a lot of noise and stuff. We're going to have windows you can look into it, because that'll be cool.
So the Orion's currently at white box. So we've basically taken the designer block out and just sort of fleshed out a bit more, just getting the rooms sort of looking what we want them to look like in the final thing. And once that's all been okayed, we'll then move on to grey box and get some sort of finer details and materials and stuff in there.
So we went through quite a few iterations with design before we settled on this one, and most of the time the limitation was just size.
This is amazing. This is really what we knew about the Orion this is 2017. Again, working on ships before the gameplay is ready. I'm glad that they realized they needed to stop working on this one before they tried to put it in game, because this would have been such a pain. Oh my god, because they're going to make mining work in some way for large ships, they would have had to change this design, I think. They would have had the same problem they got with the Reclaimer now.
Panels, and under that sandwich between them is all the tech. So you've got the ore funnel along, and that's surrounded by tech parts that are open to space, and you can see that. And then on top and underneath, it's sandwiched on with the plates, kind of like the Constellation nacelles, that sort of thing, where they're one shape, but they've got all that little greebling in it. And then from the front, you've got that classic RSI trapezoid sort of thing going on.
That's another big boat. Now today I can confirm that the RSI Orion is nearly white box complete, as the team is working in the identify and create additional concept stage before they move into gray box.
We used to get these
the dream
every
of shooting massive
week.
mining lasers from our ship's faces.
I guess ship shape not as much. Maybe once a month we get ship shape. They just tell us about how ships are doing.
Will be a reality, and we'll have more to share on this ship as it continues its progression throughout the pipeline. Finally, before we leave you today, let's go ahead and check in with the team working to bring Star Citizen's first exclusively terrestrial vehicle to life in Alpha 3.0, the RSI Ursa rover.
First ground vehicle. That was a while ago. So yeah, I mean, there's your update on the Orion. That's mostly what I had to talk about, though. Is what led to a ban on when questions? Well, they had a lot of reasons to not do bans, or to not do when questions. His 3.0 beard. What's that? Yes, this would have been his 3.0 beard. He wasn't shaving until 3.0 came out, and it took a while to come out. It took so long. The release of 3.0 makes the release of 4.0 look like Jollytown, man. That was rough. All right, y'all. I hope you enjoyed the stream and got to do a little bit of venting or listening or raging or enjoying or just having some fun. Always appreciate you guys joining me for the Monday talk and stream. We will come back on Wednesday with some gameplay. I don't know what it's going to be. It'll probably be Star Citizen PTU. And it'll probably be testing parts of that. Anything in particular that you guys want to see on Wednesday in terms of the PTU 4.1 particular gameplays? Did you cover the SCL earlier? Yes. Yeah, the concept art one. I posted that on Space Tomato too. Klesher. Contested zones? Have they changed in 4.1? Why do you want to see Klesher? You just want me in prison? Sounds like a great time. Portable refineries will create so many unique cargo routes. Yeah, that'd be sick. Space Tomato 2 is the YouTube channel. I have a second YouTube channel where I try to put up some of these videos that are edited so people can watch them if they miss a live stream. And we went over the concept art stuff from Star Citizen Live over there. Wickello and the laser. Yeah, maybe I'll do some Wickelloing, or at least some more Hathering. That was so much fun, man. I enjoyed that out at Hathor. All right, I'm gonna send you over to Avenger 1. Looks like he's doing some gameplay right now. Some ship combat. You can go have some fun over there. Oh my gosh. Whew. I gotta go do some video work and say hello to Mrs. Tomato and stretch a little bit and maybe take a freaking nap. Oh my god, I'm tired. These time changes, man. Really wonder what is the point of this laser. Love some mystery, don't we? Alrighty, y'all. Thank you again, everybody, for being here. Hope you have a great day. Hope you've been having yourselves a great day. And Sorry. Treat yourselves well. Eat something good. Find somebody that you enjoy and go have a fun time with them too. Give them a hug or something. Go out to lunch. Love you all. I'll see you on Wednesday for some gameplay. Have a good week. Cheerio. Did I really just say cheerio?